Hey y'all, good morning. Listen, I know it's early, but you need to get your hind end up. We gotta go, man. It's first light out here. We're a little bit before sunrise, and this bite I've been on, man, as soon as that sun gets up over the tree line, it's over. So we gotta catch these fish quick. So get out of bed, let's go, y'all. I'm gonna put y'all here in the chest. I'm about to hop in the kayak. We're gonna take off, man. Y'all hang on here as I get in this thing. We're gonna push off and have at it, man. Put the rudder down, put these flip-flops behind me, man. We're gonna get after some fish today, y'all. There's a good bite going on right now. Right at first light, right before sunrise to just after the sun gets up over that tree line. And once the sun gets up, man, it is over. So we gotta work quick today, y'all. We're gonna cast these baits out behind me here. I don't know if you can see yet. I'll tell you what I got going on. When it gets a little bit more daylight out here, I'll show you my rigs and my setup. I want to go ahead and get on the move though and see what we can catch. So this one here is a double hook setup. I got 2 jig heads on, trout magnets on there, just 1-inch plastics, white in color. These fish right now are feeding on tiny, tiny baits. We've had a shad spawn, and the shad fry that they're feeding on, hopefully we'll catch a fish today that pukes some of them up, and I'm gonna show you the size of the baits that they're eating. But they are keyed in on that size right now, and it is tough to match the hatch with this shad spawn that's happened. So we're gonna try though. So we got the trout magnet rig on that one. This rig here, we're gonna run a spoon that hopefully you can see there. Daylight's coming, folks. I promise the lighting will get better. So I'm gonna get on the pedals here. I don't have any weight on the spoon rig. I don't have any weight on the jig rig other than just the jig heads, which are they're like 1/32 ounce heads. They're small because I'm trying to match just tiny, tiny shad fry. So it's hard to cast these things. So what we're doing is we're tossing them out, letting out some line, and we're gonna get on the troll. And I don't know if you can see fish popping on the surface over here, but this surface activity, this is what we're looking for, and we're going to just troll up and down through here this morning. We've got another kayaker up here by the dam wall. I'm at Melton Hill Dam today, right above the dam. Just launched right here at the boat ramp, and we're starting fishing right here where we're at. But I'd planned on going down to the dam and working this, but there's another kayaker down there, so we'll give him space, and we'll just work here, up and down here by the ramp and up by this campground up here, and we should be able, I'm seeing a bunch of fish popping right here, man. We're gonna get on them today, y'all. But we're out here today. I'm gonna get y'all on the chest. Y'all can help me reel in some of these fish as they bite. But we're out here on a bait run this morning. We need to catch some catfish bait. I'm leaving out for a tournament tomorrow, so I want to catch some white bass for this tournament. Going to fish up on Hoover Reservoir in Ohio, and I really want to have I'd like to have about 10 or 12 white bass. So that's going to be the goal. If we get some skipjack, I'm not going to turn them down, but the skipjack are not a native species. You can use them on Hoover Reservoir because they are a native species in Ohio where I'm going, but they are not native to that particular body of water. So you can catch fish, catfish on skipjack up there. I caught some last year when I went up there, but it is not the ideal bait. And so I'm going to try some white bass. assuming we can get some out here today, and I think we're going to load up. it's just hard right now. Like I said, we're gonna have one of these fish hopefully puke up some shad fry. Like they're gorging on these small baby shad right here. We're hooked up just like that. I don't know if y'all can see or not just yet, but we got one just like that. This is on the trout magnet rig. But I want to show you what they're feeding on and show you my baits that I'm using, just so you can see the size comparison between the two and see that even though I'm using small baits, it's going to be, the baits they're feeding on are smaller still than the small baits that I'm using. Now this one here is going to go in our cooler. I did bring my live bait tank, and I remembered to go ahead and fill it up with water there at the ramp. If we catch some that are smaller than this, I'm talking like maybe 7-8 inch range white bass, we're going to keep them alive. This one here is just a little bigger than what I would like to keep alive. Let me get him back here in the cooler. Let's cast this back out and let's get back after it, man. We're going to stay on the move. If this bite today is the same as what I have been on lately, there's going to be times where we're going to go through just active schools of busting fish, like massive schools. And if we were using a different rig, a different setup, we could sit there and cast to those schools that we go through. But like I said, the rigs that I'm using are so lightweight, I can barely cast them at all on my heavier tackle here, my skipjack rigs. I gotta get this line here, it got around my rudder, there we go, on my spoon rig. So, bottom line is, we're gonna focus on trolling here to get our bait. Now, once we get, let's say we get 10, 12 white bass, I feel like I'm good as far as what I need for the tournament. Then we can switch over. And I brought my ultralight rod too. Maybe we'll take a Gulp, take like a 1-inch Gulp minnow and throw to some of these busting schools. That 1-inch Gulp, man, and my regular viewers, you've seen me throw that 1-inch Gulp on a lot of my ultralight trips, right? Again, if we get one of these fish to puke something up, I'm going to show you that 1-inch Gulp in relation to what they're feeding on. The 1-inch Gulp, especially once you put it on a jig head, is significantly bigger than what they're currently eating. And so it's hard right now when you're throwing baits larger than what they're eating. It's hard to get a bite. And I know that sounds crazy because you're going to see these schools, assuming the bite today is like it has been, as it gets a little lighter out here and these fish really turn on right here at sunrise. And I may be building this up and it just not happen today, but I think it's going to because I'm seeing so much activity already. But you're going to see these massive schools of fish just erupting on the water. And I'm telling you, if you're throwing a bait in there that's too big, that's just not what they're keyed in on feeding at, buddy, you ain't gonna get a bite. Even running it through this just massive school of fish busting. So that's why we're gonna stay on the troll. That way I can keep a distance with these baits behind me. They're more comparable. Oh, here's a bald eagle. Look right here. Is that a bald eagle? I can't half see. That one is a bald eagle right there. I think that one up there is an osprey. That's an osprey. That was a bald eagle. We about seen America's bird get him a fish right there, but he thought better of it. He didn't want to do it on video. He says, I can't afford his talents today. He said he sent me a bill in the mail. He likes to get paid up front and the check ain't cleared, so he ain't gonna be on this video catching no fish. But anyway, y'all, I got so my rigs are cast out behind me. I'm trolling right now. I do have the graph mounted on this kayak now. I don't have it turned on though. I don't really need it today for what we're doing. We're just doing a light troll up through here, just a casual pedal here in my pedal kayak, which probably has us running, give or take, 2 miles an hour, 2 to 2.5 miles an hour, which is a perfect, ideal trolling speed for both white bass and skipjack. Now, lately I've been out here, I have seen some skipjack. That was a buffalo jumped right there in front of us. I have seen some skipjack, but it's been a white bass bite that I've been on. So I suspect that's probably what we're going to get today. Now, if I was just focusing on skipjack out here, I would have 2 rods with the jigs on there, the smaller trout magnet plastics. The spoon rig, and that's a sumo spoon, I mostly catch bass on that. You will catch some skipjack on a spoon, especially this time of year, these hot summer months. It seems like the spoons perform well with skipjack. But for whatever reason, I typically do better on jigs with the skipjack. The spoons, they catch a lot of bass. Not only white bass, I wouldn't be shocked today, especially if we make our way down there closer to the dam. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some largemouth or smallmouth on that spoon as well. Something about the action of the spoon. The spoon is just it's a curved piece of metal with a hook attached. Like, it's a very simple lure. Just a curved piece of metal. But when it's coming through the water, it's spinning, and it's creating a vibration. It's creating a flash. And so it's getting the attention of these predator fish because it looks like a bait fish that's fleeing, that it's running or swimming. I've never seen a shad actually grow legs and run like Forrest Gump or anything, but you know what I'm trying to say. So it's creating that fleeing bait fish look, and it just gets reaction strikes. So we're just going to turn. We're really going to work this area here, right here in front of the boat ramp. I really wanted to work down toward the dam, but I saw that other kayaker down there. It's me and him. We're the only 2 people in the parking lot so far. So I don't want to crowd him. I mean, hell, y'all have heard me complain endlessly on my videos when it's a day where you got 2 people on the water and somehow or another people get right on top of me. It just pisses me off. There's no reason for it. There's fish all over the damn lakes and rivers, no reason for people to be on top of each other. So I don't want to be even though he's down there where I'm wanting to go, I don't want to be that guy that goes and gets on top of somebody. It's just not necessary, I think these fish we're seeing out here more toward the middle here that we're going, I think those are more carp and buffalo coming up right now. I see some stuff. I don't know how well you can see it right now with the low light. There's some activity going on down there by the dam itself. That's a buffalo jumped right there. The kayaker's coming up this way now. He's headed back toward the ramp, it looks like. We'll go down through here. Oh, right here, we're gonna catch a fish first. Oh, that might be skipjack actually. Here I did talk about not catching as many skipjack on the spoon rig, and I think that's what we're about to reel in here on the spoon. It's not a white bass. It's either skipjack or a largemouth. Yeah, largemouth. Right out here in the middle of the dang. I told you, man, these spoons, they catch a lot of bass, all species. That bass right there, I don't have the graph on, but I bet you we're 40, 50 feet deep out here, right here in the middle of the dang reservoir. Again, I'm on Melton Hill Reservoir. And down here on the lower end by the dam, out here in the middle of the channel, you're looking at where we're at, it's probably 40, 50, 60 feet deep. But these fish, we're gonna catch them just subsurface today because they're out here chasing schools of bait. I heard that fish jumping back there. I thought it was probably a skipjack, but nope, old large jaw. We can, here in Tennessee, we can keep largemouth bass for bait, but they gotta be legal size. And I think out here, don't quote me on this, but I think on Melton Hill, they either gotta be 14 or 15 inches. Now, I'm not gonna be keeping any of them today because I'm going for this tournament in Ohio, so I don't know if you can use bass in Ohio or not. I'm not educated on that, so I'm not gonna fool with it. I see those fish down there though. They're busting there on the dam wall. That's where we need to go. They're going crazy down there. That's probably the white bass down there. That's what we need to get to. We're gonna catch another one right here though. We're gonna catch them all up and down through here, man. It's just, they're massive schools. I see them going crazy down there by the dam. This is another one here on the trout magnet jig rig. Let's get a look at this one. Is he one that we want to possibly consider putting in the live bait? I think he's still going to be a little bit bigger than what I want for the live bait bucket. Just a smidge bigger right there. We're going to throw him in the cooler though. No size limit on the white bass. We do have a limit on how many we can keep. I think it's 15, I think. I know I should probably know that, but I really don't care because I never keep enough to get near the limit anyway. Most of the time, if I'm keeping white bass, I keep 6 or 8 usually. I'm not one of these fishermen that just tries to go out and keep a limit just because I can. I'm gonna take what I'm gonna use. And so, tournament purposes, I obviously want to have enough to keep my baits fresh there all day in the tournament. Our tournament will be an 8-hour event, so you know, I want to have fresh baits on all the time for it. But I'm contemplating, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up that may want me to do this, because it may not happen. I'm not 100% on it yet. But I'm contemplating the day after our tournament. Again, it's in Columbus, Ohio, on Hoover Reservoir. I'm contemplating the day after fishing on Sandusky Bay. I went up there recently to, mainly to practice, get a little pre-fishing in for the Hoover tournament. I did terrible at Hoover. I mean, piss poor. I caught 4 small blues. So I'm not going into this tournament with a lot of confidence, but I did have a pretty good day fishing Sandusky Bay. I'd went up there, fished a day, and then went to Hoover after that. So contemplating going up there, fish the tournament, and then going to Sandusky afterwards. So our tournament, so here's the thing. I'm filming this video today on a Friday. Our tournament was originally scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday, but here's what happened. Weather report up there in Columbus is calling for storms pretty much all day tomorrow. So the tournament director decided to move our tournament to Sunday, which I think is probably the best move to make. Just Sunday, the weather's looking fine. Tomorrow, the weather, the forecast, you know how the weatherman forecasts are, but it's looking rough. The wind is supposed to be bad tomorrow. It's probably the right call to do that. So tournament's going to be on Sunday. And you know me, I hate fishing the weekends. Outside of a tournament situation, I don't fish weekends unless it's carp fishing where I can be way back up in a creek hiding from people. But since the tournament's on Sunday, I thought, you know what? I'll leave the tournament, drive 2 hours up to Sandusky, spend the night. I can be out there first thing Monday morning and maybe be able to avoid some of the boat traffic fishing a weekday there. And so that's kind of what my mindset was. I wasn't going to go to Sandusky initially. I was just going to go, my initial plan was to come out here, catch bait this morning, drive up to Columbus this afternoon, spend the night, fish the tournament tomorrow, and then drive home. That was going to be my plan. But since the tournament's changed, I'm still obviously out here getting bait today. But I'm thinking I'm going to drive up there to Columbus tomorrow, spend the night, fish the tournament Sunday, leave the tournament, drive. It's about 2 hours from Columbus to Sandusky, a little over 2 hours. Spend the night there, fish Sandusky, do a morning session, get out there dawn till 10, 11 o'clock, and then drive home. Now, here's the kicker. I have to be back home Monday afternoon by 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'm pretty sure Hoover and Sandusky are both Eastern time anyway. But I have to be back because I got to pick up Daphne, the dog, from the vet. She's got to be boarded while I'm gone because my parents normally watch her. And I'm going to work us over here. We're getting some fish, obviously, down through here, but where I've been seeing, and I know you probably can't see because of the poor lighting right now, but I have been seeing, I'm not seeing them currently, but they've been busting right there on the dam wall. The other kayaker, he's headed that way. I think I know him. If it's who I think it is, I know him. He's a bass fisherman. So he probably has no interest down here in catching these white bass. He's after largemouth and smallmouth. But we're going to work over here closer to this shoreline and then turn and go by the dam. And I think we're going to tear them up down here in this corner. That's where we're really going to get on them. But anyway, my dog Daphne, my parents normally watch her for me when I go somewhere. But my dad had a surgery recently. And the surgery went fine. He's doing well, but Daphne the dog, being a very high energy animal, needing a lot of attention and just a dog that plays very rough and very hyper. She's a very hyper dog. Not the best idea probably for her to be around my dad right now, because that's all we need is for, even though he's doing well from the surgery, we certainly don't need Daphne tripping him or knocking him over and having a fall right after surgery. So she's going to be boarded this weekend. And so I need to be back home on Monday by 6 p.m. so I can pick her up, or she'll have to spend another night at the vet there Monday night, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, we're getting down here now, folks. We're about to start really catching some fish. I've seen some right through here, but this corner, and I really want to make some casts down here with the Ultralight too, just to have some fun, just piddle around. But I need to make sure we get plenty of bait today. Worst case scenario, I could certainly do it tomorrow, but we're going to tear them up. Oh, okay, right here. You see them? Look down there to the right of this contraption. You see them busting right there, right next to that wall? There's a gazillion fish right there. Yeah, it looks like white bass. Usually skipjack, when they're busting, you'll see skipjack come completely out of the water chasing bait. Those fish there are just popping the surface, so I'm thinking that's white bass. Or it could be a big school of largemouth or spotted bass too. Probably white bass though. Yeah, we're going to have to turn and go right into them things, man. It's very active, and it has been very active until that sun gets up over the tree line. I don't know what it is about. Once the sun comes up, man, I'm telling you, it's a light switch. It's over. But right now, before sunrise to really just after sunrise, because I mean the sun is technically up before it gets up over the tree line, but this light period right here before sunrise, man, look, they're all over right here, man. I'm gonna speed us up a little bit just to get us over here to them. Because I mean, that's a massive school right there. But I'm telling you folks, man, you go up to this school and you throw a bait that's bigger than what they're eating, you kiss your chances of catching one goodbye. You'll never be more frustrated in your life, because you'll be seeing 1,000 fish around you and not get a damn bite. It's crazy. But when they're, and this happens every summer, after the shad spawn, they're feeding on, and I call them glass minnows, because these shad, they're so small you can almost see through them. But I mean, they're just 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch at the most. Okay, we're getting up here now. Here in just a minute or so, our baits that are behind us are going to be going through this. And listen, in these situations, I'm going to troll right through these schools. They do not give a crap about my kayak. They're not the least bit scared. It's probable that we're going to feel these fish bouncing off the bottom of the kayak as we go through them. Like, they are not scared in the least of the kayak. And once our baits gets through here, hopefully we're gonna hook into some of these fish that are literally busting around us. We just need us. I want to go ahead and get the bait, enough needed for the bait for the tournament, and then we'll come through these areas. We'll bust out that ultralight in the Gulp, and we'll see if we can cast to some of these. We could do that anyway. That's what I really want to do, y'all, because that's fun. My ultralight setup and 2-pound line, it's for the size of some of these white bass, it's a little underpowered, if you will, but man, it's just fun. God almighty, we just trolled right through that school and did not get bit. Our baits are too big. I can't use, though, any smaller jigs than what I'm doing and be able to put out any line. Can't cast the daggone things. Let's turn back and go by the wall over here. But yeah, we're just gonna troll along 2 to 2.5 miles an hour, roughly. And that was a big school that we just went through, which again is amazing that we did not even get a tap at our baits through there. But there's gonna be a lot of schools that we're gonna see just kind of sporadically out through here. And trolling allows us a couple things. It allows us the opportunity to keep lines in the water the whole time. Every time you reel up and make a cast, it's downtime, right? Trolling, we got lines in the full time. The other thing, you have 2 lines in. You're casting, you got 1. Trolling, in a boat, you could obviously troll many lines as you want. And in a kayak here, we're gonna do 2 rods, or else we'll have everything tangled. But nevertheless, we still got two lines in. We're potentially doubling our production. The other thing is trolling like this allows us the opportunity to use 2 different types of baits. Versus casting, we can only throw whatever it is that we're we got tied on in that moment, right? So, yeah. I promise you it's productive. Even though we just went through that massive school and didn't even get a tap, man. Look at this bird right here. This is a professional right here. He don't use no lures, no rod and reels. He says he don't need any of that crap to catch a fish. He don't need none of it. He says he's a daggone professional. He ain't happy we're encroaching on him either. He ain't happy. What do you think about it, bird? You wanna wave to this camera, would you, bird? Tell these people to hit that like button and subscribe. He turned his back on us, he flew away. That bird don't give a crap about us. I'm about to cut my line on the corner of that thing right there on that metal, folks. I cut my turn too sharp. I hope I don't. Okay, we're coming right beside it there. We're good. We don't need no bloopers out here. Hell, we done went through a school of 200 fish and couldn't get a bite. We don't need no damn bloopers. Yeah, we're gonna turn here. Oh crap, I caught it. It just broke us off. I missed the other corner and caught that one. Hope I didn't break us off. No, I think we're good. Check your hooks here, folks. See if we've been out a hook. That one's good. This one here, yeah, we bent that one. Let's fix this back. Let's fix this back before we put it back out. I'm gonna show you this rig right quick, now that we can actually see. So this is a 1/32 ounce head, trout magnet plastic, which is just like a inch and a half long, real thin plastic. Just trying to match the hatch best I can. And I got 2 of them tied on. And so, super lightweight rig, especially for these rods that I'm throwing, but we'll make it work. We can cast out what we can and then let out some line behind us and then troll. Very difficult to actively cast this setup. It's not, we definitely want a lighter rig to be able to throw these lighter lures. It's more suited for my ultralight than this setup here, but we make it work because it's what we do, folks. Oh, that was a skipjack jumped right there. Man, they're busting right here on this metal contraption. If we keep seeing, there's something. If we keep seeing them in these corners, when we come through the other time, there was some in the corners, is there right here too. We may have to cast over there to them areas that we just can't troll by. Let's turn and go right up through them here, this way. I tell you, man, it's exciting to see all this surface activity, but boy, it's incredibly frustrating when you can't get a bite. It's just how it is though, man. It's when these shad get bigger and they're more of it's threadfin shad that they're feeding on. But when they get bigger, when they get into that 1.5, 2 inch range, here's one. When they get into that size range, well, then they're a whole lot easier. It's a whole lot easier to catch these fish because they're feeding on a size bait that matches your lure. But right now, man, you can't, unless you use them little Popeye jigs, them little tiny hair jigs, it's tough to match it. Now this one here, I think we're going to throw him in our bucket, our live bait bucket. Oh, oh, don't spike me, fish. Yeah, this one here, folks, he's a good size. He's probably in that 8-inch or so range. We're going to throw him in our bucket. Bear with me a second here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get our pump turned on. And I know today, and I thought about this coming out here today, which kayak I should bring. I'm in the pedal kayak because, well, quite honestly, it's just more fun to catch fish out of this kayak. But let's be real. For what we're doing today, trolling, it would be a lot more efficient if we were in my motorized kayak, because we could keep ourselves moving as we're reeling in one fish. We'd keep our other bait moving along. Boy, the boats are here in full force now, ain't they? We got one going upriver. We got another one just launched. Here comes Pontoon Man. We're about to be covered up out here, folks. It's just that time of, man, it's summertime. And I know technically it's not a weekend because it's Friday, but it's weekend enough, man. It's weekend enough, buddy. The only thing that got us a little time alone this morning was just the fact that we were out here so dang early. We beat the pontooners out of bed this morning. But yeah, it'd be a lot more efficient what we're doing with the motorized kayak, because our second line that's in the water could continue going forward at the speed needed while we would be reeling in the fish on the other line. So it would definitely be more efficient. But I'm out here, you know, obviously this trip has a utilitarian purpose, right? Like, we need to get bait for this tournament, but this is also a fun fishing trip too. Like, I'm confident we're going to get what we need today. And so it's like, if I can get the job done and have a little bit more fun in the process, well, why not do that? And, you know, get a little exercise in too with this trolling. I mean, never hurts to get some cardio in, folks. Cardio don't hurt anybody. I had me a Pepsi last night. I'd went 2 days without a Pepsi. And I ended up having one last night. I was trying to cut back. Trying to cut them out completely, to be honest with you. But girlfriend wanted to go try this new place. It's and honestly, I have no idea how this store is going to stay in business. It's apparently a big deal in other places, and we just got one here. It's called Swig, and it is a restaurant that doesn't serve food. It's like a I don't even know how to describe it. It's like Sonic. If you have a Sonic drive-in, you can get a Coke and they'll put the icy flavoring in the Coke. This Swig store is kind of like that, but they don't serve food. They just serve, like, you can get a Coke or Pepsi or Mountain Dew or whatever and have flavoring put in it. Like, that's all they serve. I'm like, how the hell are they going to stay in business? But I'll be damned if the line wasn't backed around the building in there. I thought it was awful. That was Skipjack jumping right there. I thought it was awful. Personally, if I want a Pepsi, I want to have a Pepsi, not Pepsi with mango, orange, and limes and stuff in there, but you know, to each their own. But the girlfriend wanted to go, so my streak of not having any Pepsis is over. I made it 2 days though, and we got all kinds of fish, and we're not going to be able to troll right here. I think some of them are skipjack, folks. We're going to go right beside them. I think we're going to circle back here in just a minute, because this area here is impossible to troll by because of the corner here and this contraption. We'll troll right through here, and then we're going to circle back and make some casts. We're going to bust out that ultralight. I'm itching to use that ultralight, man. I'm just itching to do it. And I know that 1-inch Gulp is more suited for what these fish are feeding on right now. And I want you all to see these shad fry. I want you to see. I hope something pukes up today, just so y'all can see it. Hopefully when our baits get through these fish, I hope something goes down. These people right now, I guarantee you, here's one. I guarantee you, oh, he dropped it. There's people sitting at home right now saying, I can't believe he's trolling right through that school, scaring all them fish. That's why he ain't getting bit. I promise you that ain't it. They do not. When they're in that massive feeding frenzy, like, they don't give a damn that you're trolling. Now, if you was running through them with like a really loud outboard motor that was vibrating and all that, yeah, sure, they're going to scatter from that. But my pedal drive here with that prop barely turning in a small profile kayak, man, these fish ain't the least bit scared. There he is. That's skipjack. Our line, we hooked him right here in front of this, that metal contraption thing. I may need to shorten the distance that my baits are running behind me. Maybe what I need to do. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's skipjack right there. We'll take him. If we can land him, we'll take him. Hey, quick release. I like it, skipjack. Thank you. Thank you, good sir. You wasn't really the target species today, but I mean, hell, I ain't gonna turn you down. We'll throw you in the cooler. We'll try you up there in the tournament. We'll try you. If not, we can use him up there in Sandusky. I'm sure them channel cats don't give a damn. They're not particular. Notice we pulled through there with the spoon, and the skipjack eats the jigs. The jigs are way more size appropriate for what these fish are feeding on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I can't help myself, y'all. Give me just a few minutes, okay? We're gonna get back on the troll, because I know the trolling. A lot of you don't like trolling. I get it, to each their own. And it's not been lights out for us thus far with the trolling. But I know if I do this for a couple hours here, I'm gonna have all the bait I need and more. I can't right now, I just can't help myself. I'm seeing all these fish. They're around this metal contraption here. They're over there in the corner of it. They're there along the dam wall, and I just want to throw over there with a dang Gulp and just have my fun ultralighting. This 1-inch Gulp is, I know this 1-inch Gulp, a lot of you look at this bait and you think, man, that's super small. I promise you, it is. You see what they're feeding on, it's still going to be bigger than what they're actually eating right now. As crazy as that sounds. But this is way more size appropriate. Yeah, let's cozy up over here into this corner. Man, they're just busting. I hope there's some white bass mixed in over here. I saw skipjack jump a couple times, and of course we just caught that skipjack. But I hope, we really need white bass today. That's what we really need. Let's stand up and see if we can, let's just drift into these things. I can't really cast this very well either. Oh, he swiped it. I'm gonna reel this thing fairly quickly since they're feeding up on the surface. I mean, look at this, there he is. There he is. Oh, it's another skipjack. We'll take him. On the ultralight here, I can't horse these things in like I do on my other rigs, because again, I got 2-pound line here on my ultralight. These things, this is what's fun, man. This is fun. This is why I wanted to bring my ultralight right here, just because of this. I was going to do this once we got baited, or got our cooler full of bait, but I just can't help myself, folks. I just can't help myself. I want to do it right now. I'm seeing all these fish. If these were out more in open water, I'd keep trolling. But right here, it's hard to troll through this area because I got to make this turn by the dam wall, and we got that big metal contraption. So when they're right here, you kind of got to cast to them. These skipjack though, man. This skipjack here, he's probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds. And you get him here on an ultralight. You gotta take your time, man. If you don't, they're gonna break you off. And I'm honestly surprised he ain't come up and jumped some more. I got my net with me here too. I come prepared today. Some of these white bass get big too. We'll get him up here and try to net him. I need him to not be under the kayak like that though. We don't want him running that 2-pound line over my prop on the pedal drive. That's a recipe for disaster for sure. I did catch fish on skipjack up there at Hoover last year. But crappie was the bait last year that they wanted. But we were there like early May last year for the tournament. This year it's middle of damn summer, so I've got more confidence in white bass as a summertime bait, and so that's what I'm gonna roll with up there. I didn't do worth a diddly poo on my practice session up there, but I didn't take bait with me. I caught bait up there, and all I could get was bluegill that was legal size. Caught some crappie, caught a bunch of crappie up there, but they were all short, so I didn't get to try them. We gotta be getting close to this dang old skipjack, man. We gotta be getting close, man. This is fun though, man. You get a fish that's too big for your ultralight, it's fun. These skipjack, they are a hard fighting fish. Like, I know they're not they're not a sport fish, obviously. They are a bait fish, a trash fish. These damn skipjack though, they fight harder than the largemouth bass that all our local fishermen target all the time. Like, I mean, they fight harder, they fly higher. Like, they're just more fun. They're more fun to catch than a largemouth bass, but bass fishermen don't care. They're disappointed when they get them. All right, let's do that again. Took forever to get them in. Definitely not the most efficient way of fishing out here this morning, but you know what? It's fun, man. And we're out here to have some fun today, and I just can't help myself. I just can't help myself, folks. I do hope, normally I go bait fishing, I'm trying to catch skipjack. Like that's the goal. But today we really need to get some white bass too. I'm just running this thing, I'm casting it out and just running it here along the surface, swimming it along the surface. They're feeding on the shad, there's one. They're feeding on the shad up here, so you want to keep that bait up there where they're feeding. Okay, that's a white bass there, that's what we're after. Just take our time with him. Take your time. Don't be horsing fish with 2-pound line. I just spooled up yesterday. I put new fresh line on here. I could have put some 4-pound on and we could get a little bit more rough with these fish today, but I like doing what I'm doing. And that 2-pound line with this smaller jig head, it gives us a little bit more casting distance. Even though we can't cast far with it, it gives us a little bit more than what we would get if we were using 4-pound line. Get on in there. Okay. Well, you didn't take nearly as long as the skipjack, did you? I'll take that. Please and thank you, sir. And we will throw you in the cooler. Okay. Yeah, folks, when the way they're positioned over here in this corner, and they've got these shad run up here against this dam wall, like, you just can't troll through here. Oh, crap. Okay. Make you another cast over there, would you? Let's see if we can get us another one. Just boom, boom. And what we're doing when we're swimming this thing back to us, we are representing a shad that has gotten isolated from the school. And we're doing the same thing when we're trolling too. We're trying to represent, oh, it won't hit me. We're trying to represent a shad that has lost the school. And those are the fish that are going to be eaten. And I've told this story before, but there's the old saying, safety in numbers. I've heard it a million times. You've undoubtedly heard it a million times. And it's the absolute truth. There's fish. There is safety in numbers. When those shad are all schooled up tight together, it's hard for these predator fish to isolate and pick off any one individual fish in that school. So they will swim into the schools and try to bust up the bait balls and try to get those individual shad instead of a school. Oh, look right here. That's a bass, but you see all of them that he's puked up right there? The water's clear. I don't know if you can see them. They're falling down. I want to try to get over here to them. I'll show you the bass in a minute, but look right here. He just puked up a bunch of them right there. You see them? They're floating down in the water right there. Let me see if I can scoop him. I want to show you so bad. I want to show you that they're going to fall through my net anyway. I was trying to get over here to them. Some of them are floating up. I want to show you this dead fish. I'm so excited. I'm more excited about showing you a damn dead shad than I am showing you this largemouth bass that we just caught. I've lost my dang mind, y'all. I can't get over here to net the dang thing. Okay, oh, okay, good, I got him, okay. I got us one, y'all. Let's get rid of our bass here first. Wrong species. Wrong species, large jaw. Thank you for playing though today. Okay, right here, that's what we want. This is what they're eating. Damn near see-through, so okay. So here is our 1-inch Gulp minnow next to that shad. See how our 1-inch Gulp is bigger than the dang shad? It's close. It's more representative of the size they're feeding on, which is why we're getting bit on the Gulp. But it is significantly smaller. Now let's compare that to the trout magnet. Again, close, but the trout magnet, especially when you factor in the size of the jig head too, the trout magnet's bigger. Now, you take the spoon over here. And this is a small spoon, that's the small sumo spoon. Huge size difference. Huge size difference. So that right there, folks, is why when you're trolling through these schools, I mean, you've got massive amounts of fish activity. If your size of your bait is wrong, and you saw there that bass, I hope you saw anyway, that bass puked up, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them. Like, he puked up a lot. He had a whole belly full of them things. That's what they're keyed in on. You've got to match that size as close as you can, or you are not going to get bit. Now, again, this is a unique time period right now. This is right after the shad spawn. They are super small. You give it another month or so. Them dang, oh, he just come up and got that dead one right there. Keep your eye on that shad right there that's floating. Oh, something got me. A skipjack come up and got one of them, and another one come up and tried to get the other one. Eating them dead shad right there off the surface. I think this is a little bit bigger right here, whatever it is. We got us something good right here. But yeah, man, this, you know, give it another month, these shad will grow, it'll be a totally different bite. You'll be able to get these fish, when you see them busting like this, you'll be able to get them on any appropriate size lure. But boy, right now, it's a tough bite. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a skipjack, if it's a largemouth. I think if it was a largemouth, he'd have jumped by now. I think if it was a skipjack, he would have probably jumped by now. I bet this might be a white bass. That would be awesome if we could just go ahead and get the bait we need. No, it's a skipjack. He just didn't come up jumping. Interesting. Now here's the bad news for y'all watching right now. Those of you just watching and enjoying the video, no problems for you. Come here, Skippy. Come here as I break some bad news to people. For those of you that just watching, trying to figure out where to catch some skipjack at, trying to figure out where to get some bait at, by the time you see this video, I'm already done with this bite. My videos at this point are, I'm way ahead on videos, and I've been doing that purposely so that I can fish an area until I'm done with it without having people all over the top of me and whatnot. I got other people that follow me around, unfortunately, and so if you're one of those people, chances are by the time you're seeing this video, this bite here is already over and these fish have moved on. So you're probably out of luck. But there'll be more. There'll be more in this area. They just might not be as thick as what you're seeing right now. Right now is right now is the time when they're just super active right now. There's a lot of them in here right now, good numbers. Apparently both white bass and skipjack. I'm not seeing any surface activity at the moment. I'm gonna throw over here on this side, kind of the corner, keep my eyes open. We see some surface activity wherever that school went. We'll certainly try to locate them, go after them. And it could be, here's something else. When you got a lot of surface activity, all of a sudden it stops. It could be that the fish that we're catching have just become bait themselves. There could be some stripers in here, and they could be moving those fish that we were sitting here catching. Something could be after them right now. That's possible. So they'll pop back up here eventually. If not, we'll get on the move. We'll throw out our trolling rigs again. And yes, I could troll this ultralight setup, but I'd rather not. With us not being able to, when you're ultralight fishing like we're doing, these fish that we're getting, the size of them, like we're kind of at their mercy. So I would rather hook these fish on a shorter line. I don't want to have a bunch of line out behind me trolling and have these fish swim all over creation and all that, getting our other lines. It'll be a tangled mess. I want to cast this bait and troll the other ones. I've obviously got heavier line on. We can get control of fish much easier. Look at Bird up there, he's back. That old heron up there, he's back. He's got his eye on something up there. I'm gonna throw right here by this metal contraption. You know, I know those people sitting at home right now lecturing me on everything I'm doing wrong, but what I do, it may not always be the most efficient, but it's effective enough for me. And I have fun doing what I do. Don't you dare jump down there and grab my bait there, you bird. Well, them fish are gone, man. Something's run them out of here. I mean, something has moved them, y'all. Like there ain't nothing going on right now. And now the sun, it's a cloudy day, but it's still early enough that the sun ain't up over them trees. So let's bust out our trolling rods here and let's get back on the move. Let's go see what we can find. Y'all keep your eyes open. If we see them busting back down here, we'll come back down. They're probably still somewhere in the area, but yeah, I want to get on the move. I'm seeing some more activity up here. I'm not going to let out as much line this time. Try to keep it a little bit shorter line on our trolling rods, especially our jig rod. I want it running. The spoon is so light, if you don't put any weight on it, it's hard to get it down. Same thing with these lighter jigs here. I mean, you got to have some weight to get them down when we're moving it 2.5 miles an hour. Like they're going to stay up in the water column, which is where we want them. I want that one there staying up real high in the water. Yeah, let's just make our way up through here. We'll go right up the middle again. Sometimes I've been seeing them in massive numbers over here by the swimming area. And so we'll go right up the middle here, make our way up to the ramp, take a look and see what's going on there at the swimming hole. Tends to be more people in that area, sometimes even just fishing from the bank. Thankfully, the other kayak fisherman that was down here, he moved on pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure if it's who I think it is, I'm pretty sure I know him, and he's a good dude, but he's a bass fisherman, so if he was down here catching skipjack and white bass, he wasn't going to have any interest in doing that for long. But again, I don't understand, man. Like, I've caught a good number of bass in my life. I'm not a bass fisherman, but I've caught a lot of largemouth and smallmouth bass. Pound for pound, I hate to break it to these bass fishermen, but skipjack fight harder, pound for pound. White bass fight harder. It's just, sorry, it's just the damn truth. I mean, you know it is. Hell, we've seen it out here today. I've caught largemouth now, in addition to the skipjack and white bass. You have personally seen which is fighting harder. It's just, but these bass fishermen, they're so fixated, because that's culturally, that's what we do here in East Tennessee. We fish for bass. Everybody's a bass fisherman. Everybody except me is a bass fisherman. We need some more white bass though, folks. That's what we need. I gotta get on the ball here. I need to make sure we got plenty for the tournament. I don't know how many we got now. What, three or four? Yeah, I don't need a lot. I mean, it would, especially now that we got a couple skipjack in the cooler too. I mean, if I get 10 white bass, I'm good. Like I said, whatever I have left over from a tournament, I will take up to Sandusky, assuming I go. The one thing that maybe would prevent me from going to Sandusky would be if the weather report changes or the wind report changes, something like that, that would make it, because yeah, I mean, Sandusky, man, if the wind blows up there, it's a rough. So I don't want to fool with a high wind day, but as of yesterday, when I was looking at it, it was looking okay. But yeah, fish up there, take whatever bait I got left. I'll stop and get a pack of chicken or something, because it's all channel cats in Sandusky Bay. It's been big ones, but it's all channel cats, and they're not too particular on the bait that you feed them. So we can go up there and have us a good time for a few hours, and then hopefully get back home. If I could go up there, if I could fish from like 6 to 10, it would still give me time to get off the water and make it home before the vet closes to get Daphne. Yeah, I'm seeing some more activity right over here. Yeah, they're busting right over here in these weeds. There's some grass that comes out over here. And I oftentimes catch fish, even when they're not real thick down here like they are right now, but I'll oftentimes catch them along this weed line, just whether white bass, yellow bass, largemouth, whatever. I'm gonna just troll through here one time. I wanna go down here by the swimming area and just see. I'm having a hard time seeing right now with the glare if there's more activity down through here or if it's just kind of isolated right here. I just want to take a look down through here. So we'll troll through here, hopefully pick off some fish, and then come back to it. Now that we kind of know where another school's at. I don't know what happened to the ones that we were down there catching. The only thing I can assume is some stripers moved in. Them stripers move in, man. They'll chase them skipjack and they'll chase them off. Here comes a boat back. I hope he ain't gonna come over here and fish. He passed up all these fish that were busting the surface to go try to find him some largemouth. He made about 5 casts probably for largemouth, didn't catch anything. He said, I'm gonna come back and take the sure thing. Yeah, I'm seeing some more down through here. Well, I tell you what though, man, they ain't interested in our trolling baits, are they? Okay, here we got one on the spoon. Nope, he dropped it. Yeah, we got a bunch of them right here. I think these are white bass. Let's just troll all the way through them. Okay, here we go again on spoon. Yeah, let's troll through these and then we'll come back through with the ultralight. Yeah, they're blowing up all over us right here. The other thing too though, and it ain't happened yet, here's another one that's close to being a good live bait size. Actually, he's gonna go in the live bait tank too. All right. The other thing with our trout magnet rig on the other rod is we got a chance of catching 2 at a time because we got the 2 jigs on it. Okay, let's get that back out, get back on the move. Yeah, they're pretty thick right here. Okay, the spoon's on again. Got another one on the spoon. That damn bass boat's coming up right behind us, man. He's right behind us down here. I knew there'd be more people out here today, being a Friday. Listen here, buddy. He's a little bit bigger right here now. Okay. Welcome to the show, white bass. Welcome to the show, buddy. Okay. Spoon getting it done. 2 in a row on the spoon. Let's just continue along. We're about to knock my dang cooler lid open back there. I don't know if you can hear them there on the microphone or not, man. They're wild in that cooler. They are not happy. They are not happy about being in there. Apparently, that cooler is not the place to be. I'm lucky for him, that's where he's gonna be for about 48 more hours until the tournament. I want to circle back. This dang boat, man, he's coming up. He circled around, he's coming this direction too. We may have to reel in and, oh, I had one hit me. Oh. He's making the turn here and the spoon got hit again. Well, all of a sudden, folks, the spoon's getting it done. Maybe these up here are feeding on a little bit bigger shad, possibly. If nothing else, though, we're getting our bait, folks. We're getting our bait. Yeah, I'm gonna go toward these dang bass fish. Again, I hate encroaching on people. especially when we got this much water. But in my defense, I was here first, and they did come up kind of behind me here. Now, they saw me going this way and probably thought I was going to keep moving that way, but it just is what it is. We own a big school of them here. We could start casting to them, but we're getting them right now on this spoon. I'd like to go ahead and just, keep it going right here. Get our bait. It's a cloudy day. It may extend the bite a little bit, but I mean, that bite lately has been shutting off very quickly when that sun gets up over the trees. The surface activity stops and the bite stops. Now, I'm gonna fish a little longer today, even after the bite stops. I've got this ultralight, so I'm gonna get down here along the dam and work these trees and stuff, and I'm gonna get me a full trip in, but the bite's definitely better right now than what it's gonna be here in another hour. Yeah, let's circle back. I'd like to run all the way down there to the dock, but with the boat down there, people. You see them? Okay. Oh. Something was hitting me as we was making the turn there on the spoon rod. It suddenly disappeared. I'll check this one right here. As we pedal along, I'm going to reel the jig rod in a second. When we slowed down to reel in the others there on the spoon, I fear we might have picked up some weeds on these jigs. No, we did not. Worrying for nothing, folks. I was worrying for nothing. Some over there by the swimming area on the other side of that thing. Okay. This is fun though. It's fun because, I mean, you just know at any time a rod could go down. I mean, at any time. It could happen. Or you could have both rods go down. Not uncommon at all when you're trolling two rods in these situations to have them both go down when you go through school. It's just, like I said, it's much easier. A month from now, this will be a lot easier because they'll be feeding on larger baits that's more appropriately matched to the size. You can throw, it's funny, you can throw a bait that is smaller than what they're feeding on and get bit. But when you throw something that's bigger than they're feeding on, very difficult. I don't know why that is. You would think a lure that represents a fleeing bait fish, when you're pulling it through a school of just fish busting everywhere, you would think it would just get destroyed. But I'm telling you, man, these skipjack, these white bass, when they're eating the shad fry, you can forget about it. That just ain't how it is. Now, I know there's probably somebody sitting at home calling me a liar right now, but there's one. I've just seen it. I've seen it too many times. It took me a long time of frustration to figure out that I needed to downsize as small as possible during the shad spawn. Like it took me, there was a lot of summers where I would be so frustrated because I'd be seeing fish everywhere and just not be able to catch them. And finally figured out that it was the size of my baits. Come on in here, Mr. Bass. Oh, you splashed me in the face. Suddenly the spoon is the hot bait. Doesn't matter to me which rod they eat, so long as they bite. Matters not to me, folks. I'm gonna have my fun either way. There we go, got the other line wrapped up. That boat's still sitting down there. You know what's gonna happen in a minute? Is one of them fish, let me make sure y'all ain't got water. Williams do, you got water drops all over the dang lens. Holler at me when that happens, folks. I'll clean yous off. One of them fish back there in a minute's gonna knock that cooler lid open, and 2 or 3 of them's gonna jump out. That's what's gonna happen. I've got that cooler because I got my live bait tank in there. I've got to have that cooler kind of sitting at an angle off the back of the kayak. And so if they pop that lid open, it's going to be real easy for them to swim away. We should be getting fairly close now, shouldn't we, to what we need? I ain't keeping track, but between them and the skipjack, and we got 2 in the live bait tank now. I'm not going, that's probably all I'm going to put in that live bait tank. Just because, because here's the thing, it's so hot right now. When I get home today, I will put some ice bottles. I keep some frozen water bottles in my freezer, and I'll put some of them down in that live bait tank to try to cool that water down. But it's so dang hot, it's hard to keep. Okay, here we finally got something on the trout magnets here. It's hard to keep them live baits alive right now in that small container. So I'm gonna try to cool it down as much as possible, and I'm not gonna overcrowd it. I'm just gonna put, especially since I gotta keep them alive for 2 days. Oh, that's another bass right here, largemouth. Oh, large jaw. Come on in, large jaw. There we go. Wrong species. Now, normally you get them largemouth on the spoon, but there's just so many fish right now. So many fish working these schools of shad, like everything's gonna be mixed in. We'll probably get a smallmouth at some point out here too. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe some yellow bass also. Let's spin back around here since some people in the boat's right there. We could probably go back to the Ultralight now. I think we'll get enough to finish us off what we need. Might as well make another lap here though. Not seeing as much surface activity now. Again, it's getting, you can see where the sun's coming up over there. Thankfully it's cloudy. A cloudy day will extend a morning bite oftentimes. Clouds are your friends in situations like this. Here's the other thing that's nice about them clouds is it's so damn miserable hot. It's gonna help make it more comfortable for us for this morning. This is gonna be a short trip for me today. I mean, I wanted to come out here and get our bait. What am I snagged on here? Is that a fish? Or did I pick up some debris? I picked up a stick. Old stick fish. But I wanted to come out, get our bait, and then spend probably a couple hours throwing the ultralight, just catching whatever will bite. I just want to catch some fish today. Obviously need to catch some fish, but want to catch some fish also. I know a lot of yous, some of yous don't care. Some of yous even like this trolling. There's a lot of people that don't like the trolling parts of my videos, but I'm just telling you, man, it's an effective technique. Especially when you're bait fishing. Like I said, you can run 2 rods, you can try different baits. It's just more efficient because you've always got baits in the water. The other thing too with trolling that's helpful is not so much today because we've been across such large schools of fish. But oftentimes, after the shad spawn, these fish will kind of spread out again. And you'll have, instead of giant, massive schools like we're seeing today, you'll have clusters. If you see them come up, they'll be like 5 or 6 skipjack in a cluster over here. 200 yards away, there'll be another little cluster of 5 or 6. And so if you're wanting to cast to those, it's hard to get to them. Like you see a school, you run up, you get to them, make a couple casts, they're gone. So when you're trolling, you can kind of not necessarily follow those schools, but you can just be in the area that they're at and come across them more frequently than if you're trying to chase and cast. We'll go up here just a little bit further. We'll turn, we'll go back through. And I think we'll start casting after that. I don't know how many we've got now, but we've got plenty. We got to be getting close to what I need. I need to also remember to take, I got some red horse sucker in my freezer. I need to take one of those with me too up there, maybe 2 of them. Try to work those in on tournament day. I think my tournament strategy, I did so poorly on my pre-fishing, but 3 out of the 4 fish I caught were on balloon rigs. So I think I'm probably going to fish shallow, at least to start, for the tournament, and then drag 1 bait, like work 2 balloon rigs and 1 dragging rig. And if the dragging rig is significantly outperforming the other, well, then I can switch over. So here's the thing with Ohio. They've got a rule that says you can only fish with 3 rods. 3 rods per person. You can carry as many rods as you want with you, but you can only fish with 3. So I'm going to carry 4 rods with me. I'm going to have 2 with dragging rigs and 2 with balloon rigs. And what that will allow me to do is fish with my 3-rod setup. I'll start with 2 balloon rigs and 1 dragging. If I'm catching fish dragging and not on the balloon rig, well then I can, because I've got that other rod with me, I'm going to be able to quickly switch over and go 2 dragging rigs, 1 balloon rig. I'm going to have a combination of both all day up there. But I'm just going to fish shallow because that water, I mean, I think those fish up there are spawning. That was the impression I got with water temps being mid-70s when I was up there pre-fishing, and the reports I've gotten from the locals up there is that the bite's been rough lately. So I think they're probably spawning. So I'm gonna work shallow. Hoover is a small reservoir. Oftentimes what I've been told has a thermocline in the summer months. So I'm going to probably fish the upper end. I think the upper end's going to be crowded. I think there's going to be a lot of people up there. There's some busting right there by the swimming hole. They're inside the barrier though. I think it's going to be crowded, but I'm just going to go up there. I'm going to troll. I'm going to cover water. I'm going to do it for 8 hours. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to go fishing. Hopefully it works out for the best. Here we go, spoon. Boy, this is a better one right here. This is a better one right here. I've got him foul hooked on. I think that might be skipjack over there on the other side of that barrier. Maybe not. I thought I saw one come up. Listen, right here's a digging, buddy. He is a digging. Yeah, that's a big one right there. That's a big one, buddy. I'll definitely take that one. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Well, he got us all spun around, didn't he? I'll have to be careful here. I'm gonna have to back up a little bit because of the swimming hole barrier. I don't want to run over my jig line in the process. Okay, good, that boat's moving on over there. They're moving on, people. That's good news. Okay, we're good. Got another boat coming in here. He's a ski boater though. Okay, we got some busting right here beside us. Okay. Yeah, I think we're about good on bait probably. I'm probably going to, I kind of want to just work our way down to the dam now that boat's gone out of our way. Oh crap, one of them popped out here. Look at this. I told you one was going to escape. I told you. I told you it's going to happen. Thankfully, he went in the floor of the kayak and not overboard. I kind of want to work my way down to the dam again and start casting. Try to bust some fish with the ultralight. Well, no, we've still got fish right through here in the swimming area. But I think, you know, we'll probably pick off some more with the ultralight too. I can throw it in the cooler. I think we've about got enough. You want to circle through one more time through the swimming area, trolling, and then troll our way down to the dam. I fear we're about to lose this surface bite because the sun's out now. Let's circle around one more time. Let's do it one more time. Then on the next pass through here, we'll just troll our way down to the dam, and then we're going to start casting. We're going to work the dam wall with the ultralight. And then we'll make our way over to the shoreline, and it will be, we can get up against the shoreline over there with the way the sun's coming up and have some shade this morning. And see what all we can catch over there, whether it be bluegill, bass, whatever. Yeah, let's just make one more pass through here. I can't help myself. Definitely been more fish on the spoon through this area than what we were getting first thing. That spoon, I'm telling you, man. Today, and again, that's called a sumo spoon. If you're new to my channel or new to fishing, or maybe you haven't heard of it before, it's called a sumo spoon. There's a link down in my video description. Catfish Sumo sells them. And again, it's just a curved piece of metal with a hook. But that vibration, that flash, it looks like a small shad, like a 2.5 inch shad that's running, or that's fleeing, like it's been separated from the school. And I'm telling you, you bust a bunch of fish with that thing, especially bass, all bass species, white bass, largemouth, smallmouth. You get skipjack on it too, but really, really good bass lure. You control them year round. You control them, you can cast them. Now, when I'm casting, they're a very lightweight bait. Ideally what you do, and so that I need to show it to you too. Remind me when I reel them in, I'm gonna show you my full rig. But I've got it on a leader with some 15-pound test fluorocarbon. And so what you can do, if you want to cast those spoons, is put you a small weight above your leader. And my leader's about 18 inches or so, thereabouts, 1.5 feet or so. Put you a small weight, like a worm weight, a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, whatever you need to be able to cast. And that'll allow you to throw them farther, if you want to cast them. Honestly, I rarely cast them. I mostly use the spoons as a trolling lure. We got another one on though. As y'all look right into the sun, I'm gonna have to bust out my shades in a minute. It's coming at us. Well, he's a hitting and a getting it, ain't he? Come on up, white bass. All right, man, another one for the cooler. Yeah, let's go down just a little bit further. We'll turn, come back through. This time when we come back through though, we're going to the dam. My other rod over there jumped a second ago, and I don't know if it's because I had a fish or if because I was on bottom. Make sure we ain't picked up any weeds. I think we picked up some weeds. Oh, dadgummit. I had another fish trying to escape back there. No? Oh, yeah, we do have a little bit of weeds. Y'all clear the weeds off your jig. I knew my line popped. I think it was on bottom. That right there will keep you from catching some fish too. You got weeds and gunk all over your lures. Yeah, a lot of people just ain't into trolling, man. I like it. It's an effective technique. I find it to be fun, especially in a kayak. May not be much fun in a boat, but kayak, it's a lot of fun. Hell, one of these white bass, you get one that's a couple pounds, which not uncommon. You do that, hell, they'll spin you around backwards in a kayak as you reel them in. I mean, that happens all the time. Same thing with skipjack. You get a skipjack 2 or 3 pounds, you're reeling him in, man. He'll have the kayak spun, be pointing you the other way. So I think it's fun. I gotta get my shades on here a minute though, man. I tell you, the sun's popping out, it's getting bright. Hard on a person's eyes. All right, let's turn. We'll turn, make our way down. And again, I know people's gonna ask me about speed. How do I know? I've trolled enough in this kayak with a graph on to know that my casual pedaling pace is about 2 to 2.5 miles an hour. And I've caught enough fish trolling to know that 2 to 2.5 miles an hour is perfect. Now, skipjack, I oftentimes catch them at faster speeds, like 2.8 to 3. I've caught them up to 4 miles an hour. But you keep your speed between 2 and 3 miles an hour, you're going to catch some fish. You're going to get some white bass. You're going to get largemouth, smallmouth, skipjack. Like you're going to catch some fish. Something about 2 to 3 miles an hour is just an ideal speed. And I mean, I can maintain this pedaling pace right here. Like I can maintain it for long periods of time. Like I can do several miles of this pedaling pace. Really, the only drawback, again, to trolling in this kayak versus my other one is just the fact that with my other one, with the motor, I can keep us moving while I'm reeling in a fish. So the other bait it's not affected at all by us reeling one. I could do that in this kayak, just keep pedaling and try to work the kayak forward while we're reeling in fish, but is that as much fun? No. So I'll focus more on the fun, but it can be done, but it is definitely more efficient with the motor. But I definitely need to get my cardio in out here today, and and I don't even know if you'd call this cardio or not, because really my heart rate ain't up. This is a casual stroll. I'm not exerting myself at all. Now, whenever we finish up today, I will probably hoof it back to the car, like really ramp up the speed and get me a little exercise in. That's usually what I do. But right now, when you're pedaling at this speed, there's virtually no resistance on the pedals. Like the prop's turning so easily, you barely feel any resistance. So I guess you're kind of getting a lower abdomen, just the position, moving your legs, like you're probably getting a lower abdomen workout a little bit, but your heart rate's not really getting up, I guess, no more than just taking a walk. But either way, we're kind of getting our steps in, I guess you could say. Let me get me a swig, y'all. It's getting hot now that sun's popped out. You notice though, that sun up above the trees, where'd all the surface activity go? I mean, like a switch, man, it just turns off. I've noticed that when I've been on my bait runs recently. I've been coming here to get bait lately, and I've hesitated on filming myself getting bait here just because I didn't want to ruin it for myself, having a bunch of people show up and be on top of me. There's a bunch of people out here anyway on a weekend, of course, but I don't want a bunch of people out here weekdays when I'm trying to get them. But, at this point now, by the time I'm so far ahead on videos, by the time you see this bite it's not as good as what it is right now. There'll still be some fish around by the time you're seeing this video, but it won't be like this. And so, I'm not as concerned about it now. This is a predictable bite though. Every year this happens. So, if you're in the area and you want to look for this bite in the summer months, keep an eye out. You'll see them come out here before dawn to sunrise. You'll see them busting, and you'll also too, this ain't just a one time a day bite. You'll get on them in the afternoons too, around sunset. Now, if you come out here at sunset, you're gonna have a bunch of idiots out here wakeboarders, ski boats, jet skis. Why the hell they want to do that crap here on a reservoir that ain't very wide, I don't know. But by gosh, they do. And so they'll annoy the hell out of you if you try fishing out here in the evenings. But you can come out and get on this same bite right at sunset. But the morning bite, I'm telling you, man, when the sun gets over the trees, it's over. The surface bite, anyway. Now, they'll still be here, but they're going to be a little bit deeper. And as they're roaming around, chasing those shad, like if you don't see them, it's tougher to get them, especially when they've moved deeper and you don't know exactly how deep. You know, we could add weights to our rigs here. Like we could put like I mentioned there, if you want to cast them spoons, put you a little 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, whatever, worm weight above your leader. That'll get you extra depth when you are trolling as well. But how much extra depth do you need? Like if you can't see those fish and know what depth they're at, now I could be out in my other kayak maybe and take the live scope and be looking for them, and that would certainly make it easier to figure out what depth and how to set your baits and all that. But it's you know, for most people who don't want to fool with live scope, or you know, maybe aren't budgeted for live scope, it can be very difficult once those fish move deeper. It can be very difficult to find them and locate them. Plus too, I think the bite I honestly don't think they're feeding as heavily usually once they move deeper. Like they'll still eat if you get a bait in front of their face, but the low light periods, like when they're up on the surface, like they're actively busting fish, like that is an active bite. Like they are aggressively feeding. I think when they go a little deeper, you got to trigger them a little more, try to get the reaction more. But what we're going to do, I'm going to make my way down to here, just trolling. We're going to work our way down here to this corner by the dam. I'm going to take the ultralight. We'll work along the dam here. And then we're going to get over here on the shoreline. And the shoreline over there, like we'll have some shade for a while over there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more surface activity over there. As the sun hits the water here, sometimes the bite will move more to the right. But I really want to, just from a fun fishing perspective, because I feel like we got enough bait now. Some of them white bass I got are good size, you know. I feel like I don't know how many I got back there. I was hoping to get 10 or 12. I don't know if we got that many, but some of the ones I got were so big, like we're good on bait. Especially, again, I'm not expecting to go up there to Hoover and have a 30 fish day. Like I'm probably gonna get less than 10 fish for the day, would be my guess. Which that should be, for my regular viewers, assuming I catch fish in the tournament video should be my next trip. Because tomorrow I'm not going to fish. I'm just going to get up, do some stuff around the house, get packed up, and then drive up to Columbus tomorrow. So I won't be fishing tomorrow, so my next fishing trip should be the tournament. My videos go in sequential order, so the next video you see should be the tournament trip. And it will be an edited video for those of you that like the shorter videos. But now that we're just kind of going to be fun fishing here the rest of the morning. We've been fun fishing all morning, but you know, utility purposes, we need to get bait. Here's another one. I want to throw that Gulp though on the dam wall over here and see if we can't get some bass, like largemouth or spotted bass, maybe some smallmouth. I think we might be able to do it. That's another pretty good size one right there. Come here, good buddy. Okay. There he is, folks. White bass. These things, man, they're a hard fighting fish. They are a fun time. You can have yourself a merry little Christmas, as Santa Claus would say. No, you can. Christmas in July, folks. You can have yourself a dang good time with some white bass. I'm not going to cast this one back out. I'm going to just make our way down here, but I'm going to show you this rig since it's light enough now you can actually see it. So again, here's the spoon. This is, again, the Sumo spoon. I got a link down in the video description. These things are cheap. Catfish Sumo sells them in a 4-pack for like, I think $11, $12, something like that. So they're a cheap lure, but you can see it's the curved metal, the hook's on there. And as this thing goes through the water, I'm gonna see if I can show you here on camera. You can see exactly what it looks like. Let me get some speed here with the pedals and we'll show you how it runs. See how it spins right there? It's bouncing around. It's very erratic. That erratic motion, the vibration, the flash, like that just, the bass can't stand it, man. White bass, largemouth, I'm telling you, they'll tear it up. You'll catch skipjack on it. It's a great lure. But I've got that, again, just on a, I don't know, what is that, 12 inches, 18 inches? Leader there, 15-pound fluorocarbon to a swivel. You want you a good swivel when you're running these spoons because you will get line twist if you don't. A good quality ball bearing swivel or a chain swivel is a necessity. Do not use a cheap swivel with these because you will get your line all twisted up. Because again, they're just, you saw it in the water there, like it's just spinning around every which way. It'll twist your line up. But up above here, this is my, these are my skipjack rods. I've got braid, a 30-pound braid. These are just regular, medium heavy, 7-foot long bass rods. So easy to rig up, simple lure, but man, is it effective. That is an effective setup right there. And I mostly fish spoons in the summer because I use white bass for bait more in the summer. Like even here in Tennessee, the white bass, it's just a good summertime bait. And so that's when I normally use it, but you could use them spoons year round. Like you'll catch fish year round on them things. Like they're it's not a specific seasonal bait. Like you can, I mean, again, it represents a shad that's running, like a fleeing shad. Like any bait that represents that is good to use year round. I'm gonna switch out our Gulp here. Let's put us another Gulp on, get us a fresh one on. The other one had started to dry a little bit. We'd not used it in a while. I'm gonna turn back around a second. There's some wood over here behind us on the shoreline. I'm gonna throw it in. And then we'll work our way along the dam wall. Okay. Spoon got it done for us though, man. We couldn't buy a fish on the spoon down here. We get up by the swimming hole area. I wonder, down here we were seeing a bunch of fish busting, but the fish we did catch here were mostly skipjack. I wonder if it was mostly skipjack through here. Skipjack, and here's another observation I've made through the years. When it comes to like matching the size of the bait to what they're feeding on, skipjack are way more particular on size of bait than bass species are, whether it's white bass, largemouth, whatever. Like when them skipjack, when they're feeding on them little tiny shad fry, if you're using something that's too big, forget about it, man. Like you just ain't, you might catch one or two, but you're not going to get a cooler full. Like they are really focused on the size. Like they know what they're eating. But with that said, oh, here's fish. I don't know what this is. Bluegill. All right, I got us another species here. I'm not going to be taking any bluegill with me for the tournament. I tried bluegill up there on my pre-fishing and didn't do any good. So there's a little one anyway. I thought there might be some bluegill or bass over here on this wood. But I was trying to say, skipjack their diet mostly consists of threadfin shad. Like they are very focused. Usually when you find schools of threadfin shad, you're going to find some skipjack nearby. So it makes sense that when there's a shad spawn, like of course the skipjack are going to be more focused on those fry, because that's what they're eating all the time is the threadfin. So like they're going to pick off the easiest and the weakest of the threadfin schools, which is going to be the brand new fry. Whereas species like, as we got into the bluegill here, give me that gulp back there, fish. Give me it back. There we go. There's small bluegill, that's 2 in a row. You take species like largemouth bass, white bass, smallmouth, like they're eating a variety of stuff. Sure, they're going to eat threadfin shad. They'll eat bigger gizzard shad. They'll eat bluegill, other fish species. They're going to eat crawdads, frogs. I mean, bass are eating a little bit of everything. So, sure, they're going to be eating those shad fry when they're readily available. Here's 3 fish in a row, I believe. But because they eat other things too, I think you can get a reaction strike from them a lot more frequently from other baits. I mean, you saw we were trolling these lures. Had all them skipjack busting down here. We couldn't get a bite on them. We went. That one school we went through first thing, our lines never even got tapped. But we get down yonder by the swimming area, where it's mostly white bass, and we were able to get our spoon eat. Here's another one. Was this 4 in a row? This is a bigger one right here. Well, he's a hitting and a getting it right here. It's a better one right here. Oh yeah. Come here, bluegill. It's the biggest bluegill of the morning so far. I could sit here and do this all day, folks. I enjoy the heck out of this. Nice, man. My regular fishing buddies that tune into these videos, you know I love me some ultralight fish. We could have come out here today, honestly, with just this ultralight rod, and I would have had a blast. If I thought for sure we could have got a cooler full of bait doing it, we would have done it. My concern was, here's another one. Here's another one, folks. We got a streak going right here. I've said the S word, the streak. I've said it, but it's happening. We're streaking bluegill. Tell your friends, don't be the bluegill that ruins it down there. Let's circle back here. We're drifting off this tree right here. And I don't even know if it may just be a bunch of debris that's been thrown in here. Hell, I don't know. But either way, there's a bunch of fish here off of it, obviously. But my concern was just doing the ultralight today, because I need, it ain't just a want to get bait today, like I need it for the tournament. My concern was we'd get out here you get into some bigger white bass or some larger skipjack on the ultralight and you break off, or you hook a big drum or something and you spend 20 minutes fighting that drum on the ultralight, and before you know it, the sun's up and the bite's dead. Here's another one. The streak is alive. Smaller bluegill, but the streak is alive, folks. Like Will Ferrell in Old School, where, oh, there that bluegill goes. Like Will Ferrell in Old School, though, we're streaking. Yeah, you know, you hook into a drum that takes 20 minutes, you get into some bigger white bass, break off a couple jigs, and next thing you know, sun's up, the bite's over, and we don't have a cooler full of bait. So I think it was, yeah, I think it was the responsible thing to do to bring our trolling rods today and, you know, make sure that we got our bait. But I mean, y'all know me, like I could come out here and have a dang good time and catch a ton of fish doing this right here. I could do this 7 days a week. Because you throw this gulp, and like I mentioned there earlier, I think we're about to ruin our streak right here. I got hit, I didn't hook up, and I think our streak's coming to an end. Streak's over. I said the S word, ruined it. That last bite there about ripped our gulp off. You can get fish when they're feeding on larger baits, you can get them to eat the smaller bait. It's just harder to get them to eat a bigger bait when they're focused on something small. But this 1-inch gulp, like it's 7 day a week, 365. You're gonna catch fish with it. And of the baits that we were using today, between the spoon, the trout magnets, and this, like that shad I showed you there first thing, that bass had spit up, like this bait matches it closer, both in size and color, than the other stuff that we were using. So it's a good setup. I love this setup. I can catch everything with this setup. I mean, literally now, with the gulp, we've got white bass, skipjack, largemouth, and bluegill on this thing. It will not surprise me at all if we get a smallmouth or some yellow bass today too. Maybe even a drum. Boy, we went streaking on this tree, but it seems to be over now, don't it? I wonder if we just, they got word that we're reeling them in here and they stopped biting, or did something, I heard something behind me. I wonder if maybe something moved in there. Maybe us reeling in them bluegill, all that commotion, them bluegill panicking, if it didn't draw in some predator fish or something. Either way, don't matter, they've quit. So we're gonna move on. We'll work this other riprap here though. We'll make our way down here to the corner, then I wanna take this dam wall and just work it down. We'll work our way over to the shade and then fish there for a little while and have us some fun this morning. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna stop at the ice machine first. I'm gonna pack our bait and ice really good. And ideally, I would like to catch my bait the day before a tournament. But I just knew there was gonna be so many people out here tomorrow morning, being a Saturday morning. I'm gonna come today. But what I wanna do when I get home with this bait is put the bait in a Ziploc bag. I get them big 2.5 gallon Ziploc bags. Put it in it. You put ice down in your cooler, put the bag down, then pack more ice on top of it so that your bait is packed in ice but it's not sitting on ice. Like it's not sitting in water as that ice melts. That'll help keep your baits fresher a little longer, especially on something like, it's not as important really on white bass and skipjack, but if you've got something like shad, for instance, a softer bait, something that gets mushy quicker, doing it that way will keep your bait fresher longer. And these white bass, if I've got any left by the time I get to Sandusky, assuming I go to Sandusky on Monday, they'll be what? Saturday, Sunday, they'll be 3 days old. What the heck did I do there? A little bit older. I really don't want to use white bass more than 2 to 3 days old. So they're going to be at the tail end of what I want to use them. But being that Sandusky's a channel catfishery, I don't think it'll matter as much. I really don't. Plus, I'm gonna have some chicken too. I'll stop and get a pack. And people use chicken and shrimp up there on Sandusky. I think, oh, here's fish. I think shrimp is the more popular of the two baits, but I've done well enough to be content on chicken. So that's probably what we'll use up there. It stays on the hook better than shrimp, I feel like. So we got another bluegill here. You got any friends over there, bluegill? He says he's all by himself. I find that hard to believe, bluegill. I think you're lying to me. Bluegill said he'd never lie to me. I hope it's going to be a good trip. I was a little concerned. I honestly thought about not going. When I saw the weather report, I was like, man, if we're going to be fishing in the storms and the high winds, like that's just not fun. But once they moved it to Sunday, which again I think was the smart move to do, I'm going to give the tournament director credit for moving the tournament in advance with the way the weather forecast is. Because I was very vocal at the last tournament there, or the last tournament was at Sandusky. I didn't go to it because of the wind forecast. I was vocal about them having the tournament with those kind of winds too. But the tournament before that one on Nickajack, I did fish. And I was pretty annoyed that they did not delay the start of the tournament with the storms that were going to hit us. Like it was known the night before we were going to get pounded with storms first thing. And those storms that come through were rough. Like it was lightning, high winds, heavy downpours, like it was rough. Now, I had my incident there where I fell down the damn boat ramp and went into the water, and well, I had a mess going on, but fortunately, I was able to get in my car before the heaviest part of the storm hit. Most of the other competitors in the tournament, though, got stuck out in the storm. Now, some of the dumbasses, like my friend Ryan, he fished right through it because he doesn't care about his life at all. But most people, hunkered down, quit fishing. I was very vocal. I felt like the tournament should have been delayed. The start should have been delayed. And even after we started, man, you pulled up radar, it was a line of red that was going to hit damn near everybody. And I felt like there should have been an announcement made, hey, take cover. Tournament's postponed till 11 o'clock, noon, whatever, take cover. Protect people from themselves. When you got money and ego on the line in these tournaments, people are more likely to do stupid stuff, like fish out in the middle of a lightning storm. And so I think as a tournament director, you gotta sometimes protect people from themselves. And so I was pretty vocal with my displeasure of how that situation was handled. So, you know, I try to be fair. If I'm going to be vocal when I feel a situation wasn't handled appropriately, in a situation like we've got now, when I do feel like it's handled appropriately, I'm going to give credit where it's due. And I know, listen, I know it's tough for these tournament directors. It's tough. They're in a tough spot because you get, especially like you take a tournament trail like we got, our national trail. This ain't a local Saturday night tournament type thing where everybody lives within 20 minutes of the ramp. You know, these national trail events, most people are traveling long distances. You know, me, I'm going to drive 5.5 hours or whatever to Columbus to go fish the Hoover tournament. We got a guy, Adam, there that comes in from Kansas to fish these things. So he's drove from Kansas to Tennessee, Kansas to Ohio. He drove from Kansas to Kerr Lake in North Carolina last year. Like, I mean, it's a big investment of not only time, but also money for the people who are coming to these tournaments with their travel expenses, lodging, and all that. Plus, they've got vacation time that they're taking away from their jobs and stuff. So I get it as a tournament director. Like, when you've scheduled this tournament, people have made plans, they've taken off work, they've traveled to an area. It's hard to make the call to delay or postpone a tournament when you've got all these people that you know are going to be pissed off. But at the same time, too, when people's safety is at risk, you know, Adam from Kansas there, he brings his daughter with him. And she's fished the last couple tournaments. She's 13. And listen, I'm not saying, I don't want to say and make this sound like, you know, anything negative toward her when I say this, because she's a very capable fisherman. She's holding her own against these people in the tournaments, man. Guys that are experienced, been fishing for 20, 30 years, she's holding her own against these fellas. But when you have a 13-year-old teenager, a minor, a child, if you will, you have, in one of these tournaments, like, you have to take that into consideration when there's severe storms coming. You don't want a child. It's bad enough to have an adult be in that situation. You don't want a child out there in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and you know, again, I know people are going to be pissed off. If you delay, if you postpone, I get that people are going to be pissed off, but here and put yourself in this situation as tournament director. Y'all sitting at home right now, or wherever the hell you sitting at. Would you rather piss off 15 or 20 people in a tournament because you delayed the start until after some storms passed through, or you postponed the tournament for a day? Would you rather piss off 15 or 20 people? Or would you rather have a tournament in the middle of a severe thunderstorm, have someone get injured, God forbid a 13-year-old kid get injured, and then have not only the tournament competitors pissed off at you, because watch how fast they'll turn on you in that situation. They're going to be pissed regardless. But you let a 13-year-old kid get hurt in a tournament, that's a national news story. That's going to make the 6 o'clock news. And you're going to have a bunch of people piling on you. Why the hell was you out there fishing in a storm? Tournament sponsors, they're done with you. They're pulling out. They don't want any association with that. So it's just, the risk reward, it's just, in my opinion, and I'm one man here, take it with a grain of salt, but I would rather piss off 10 or 15 people in tournament, postpone or delay, than to risk somebody's life and God forbid something actually happen and then have the whole world coming down on you. Because make no mistake about it, folks, it would happen, and you know it would. This society, this culture we live in today, man, it's a pile-on culture. People that ain't got a dog in the race will be all over social media just blasting you if you let somebody get hurt because you fished in the middle of a damn thunderstorm. You know it's the case. You know I'm telling the truth right now. The news would pick up that story. It'd be all over social media, and the next thing you know, you got 500 people commenting that don't know a damn thing about nothing just because everybody else is. So it's just a bad situation. Again, I would never want to be a tournament director. I got no desire to ever do it. I don't envy the position. My hat's off to the people that want to do it. It's a tough spot, but, oh, I had one hit me then. I just think, my opinion, and maybe I'm just old, I don't know, I'm old man yelling at clouds these days. I just think you ought to err on the side of safety in those situations, but ain't my call. I just, the Nickajack tournament, I took my ass to the car till the storms passed, and the two guys who fished through the storms, Brian and Patrick, they won. They got rewarded, and as they should. I mean, if you're willing to risk your life and stay out there in the middle of a thunderstorm and fish through those conditions, well, you deserve to win. They earned it. But from, and I ain't trying to sound like a sore loser, but just from somebody who I feel is maybe a little bit more responsible in that situation, it sucks for me because I lost half my damn tournament day waiting in the car. So I just, in the future, I'm trying to be more prudent about looking at the weather report in advance before I sign up and stuff. Because, if I probably wasn't going to go if the weather was going to be bad and they were having it tomorrow. I probably wasn't going to. Now, weather reports are always subject to change. You know how it is. You look at a weather report a few days out, and it's completely different by the time the actual day rolls around. But had the tournament still been on for tomorrow, and they were still calling for like 80% chance of storms all day and high winds, I would have looked at it today and been like, I think I'll pass. But the weather on Sunday up there is looking good. It's going to be a little bit cooler up there too, thankfully. It's been miserable hot. Just that time of year. But we're not getting nothing over here by the dam, are we? Them fish that were here this morning is gone. Seen something busting over there. We're going to work our way kind of quickly along through here. If we're not getting bit, we'll get over there more toward the shade. Let's see what's up. I do want to make some cast here around this metal contraption and see if there's anything hanging out right there under it possibly. I want to work around the other side of it here and throw toward the corner because we'd seen some more fish kind of in the corner over here first thing this morning. But these tournaments, man, I'm very torn on the tournaments. On one hand, I enjoy the banter, just talking crap to people. You know me, I'm a little bit of a doo-doo talker, man. I enjoy the trash talk. I enjoy giving it, and I enjoy receiving it too. It's just fun. So these tournaments, with them scoring fish and having winners and losers and stuff, it's really a prime opportunity for some trash talk. So that part's fun. The other thing that's nice when you go to these tournaments is usually most people go in advance of the tournament. They'll fish, at least pre-fish a little bit. And so you can go to these new bodies of water or wherever you're fishing at, traveling to, and have people there so you can, I won't say work with other people, but like, you know, if you're struggling to get bait or somebody else is struggling to get bait, y'all can help each other. If, you know, God forbid you got car problems or whatever, you got some kind of malfunction, you've got people you can call on that you know that you're friends with that are there in the area that can help you out. So it's good from that aspect. What sucks about the tournaments is the fact that they're always held on a weekend. Oh, here we go. This is a little better right here, whatever this is. Is this a bass, maybe? It's not a bluegill. I thought we might get something hanging out there under that thing. That might just run out and get our bait as it fell down. Oh, that is, by gosh, y'all, that is a bluegill. Sure as the world. I just knew for certain that it wasn't. Boy, it is. It's a good one, too. That's one of them hand size right there. Let's get him in the light there. Look at the colors on him. Is he beautiful or what? It's a good looking fish. I did not think that was a bluegill when he was pulling, man. Let's see if he's got a friend over there. But what sucks about the tournaments is that they're always on a damn weekend, man, and here's the other thing I don't like about it. I don't like the hours of them. I've discussed this to the point people are sick of hearing about it, but most of my trips, the older I get, the shorter my fishing trips are. Like, I like fishing for 4 or 5 hours, call it a day. And these tournaments are all 8 hours. And, you know, our tournaments on the national trail start at 7, end at 3. So when you're out in the summer, man, 3 o'clock, hell, it's going to be. Now, the weather ain't supposed to be bad there on Sunday. It's going to be a little bit cooler. But some of these tournaments we fished, hell, by the time 3 o'clock rolls around, it's miserable hot out there. It's just awful. And, you know, all the pleasure boaters are out. And I'm like, you know, I'd rather go out and fish, you know, fish from 6 to noon, 5 to 11, 5 a.m. to noon, something like that. Get out there before dawn and fish till it gets hot, until the pleasure boaters come out and get the hell off the water. Or here's the other thing. And I've pitched this idea to the tournament director. Most people are against it. It'll never go through. I was honestly surprised so many people, because I brought this up at one of our tournament check-ins. And I was surprised so many people were against this idea. So let me pitch it to you, and maybe more of y'all will be on board, or maybe y'all will hate it too, I don't know. But here's what I proposed. And let me give you the backstory of why I proposed this before I did it. Because I'm pitching a weekday tournament. Let's say you have a tournament on a Saturday, which most of our tournaments are. People are taking time off work to come down and pre-fish the tournament. Most people, just on average here, I'm just speaking, there's obviously exceptions. You know, Ryan, he'll go down a week or 2 in advance and start pre-fishing. Other people may, if they got vacation time, they may take a week and go somewhere and fish before the tournament. Most people, though, they take off work Thursday and Friday. So they'll leave out, when they get off work or whatever on Wednesday evening, they'll start driving. They take off work Thursday and Friday, so they'll fish part of a day Thursday, they'll fish Friday, do the tournament Saturday, and either drive home Saturday night or Sunday. They're back to work on Monday. So they're taking basically 2 days off work, Thursday, Friday. Why can't we have a tournament on a Monday? And go with me on this. Go with me on this, okay? You're still going to take 2 days off work. Instead of these people that work Monday through Friday, instead of them taking off and leaving out on Wednesday evening to start their drive and taking off Thursday, Friday, instead, they could leave out Friday when they get off work, fish Saturday, Sunday, pre-fishing. We have the tournament Monday, which they would take a day off, drive home after the tournament. Depending on the drive, they may have to take Tuesday off. Either way, whether you have a tournament on Saturday or you have it on Monday, they're taking 2 days off work. The Monday through Friday people anyway, which is most of the people that fish our tournaments, they're they're working a Monday through Friday type schedule, okay? It would be so much better boat traffic wise for us to fish on a Monday than to fish on a Saturday. Like you would have a fraction, everywhere we go, you would have a fraction of the pleasure boat traffic, and you would have a fraction of the recreational fisherman traffic. And there's not going to be any other tournaments. Every place we go, there's another tournament going on Saturday. Whether there's a million bass tournaments going on or other catfish tournaments, like there's always something happening on Saturday morning. Monday mornings, nothing happening. So it's a perfect time to do it for us to have the place to ourselves. And people take off 2 days of work either way. So I thought, when I pitched this idea, again, I brought it up at the Catfish Suma open house. It was before our, it was either before the Chickamauga tournament or the Nickajack tournament. I brought it up. I pitched that idea to the tournament director. I pitched it to several of the guys, because I thought, if I can get some support on this, we can kind of bully our way into making it exist, Everybody was doo-dooing all over it, man. Nobody was into it. The tournament director was more receptive than anybody. I was just really surprised. And the most common pushback that I got from people was that it was harder for them to take off a Monday because they were busier on Monday. And so I guess depending on the job, they've got more work to do on a Monday. So then I put it back on them, like, well, does your boss pay you more on Monday than he does on Friday since he gets more work out of you then? Well, if he don't, then you ought to be able to take off a Monday the same as you can Friday. But yeah, people were not into it. They did not go for it. I was surprised. So I don't think it'll ever happen, but I think it's a brilliant idea. I just think it's brilliant. I think all my ideas are brilliant, though. Most people don't, but folks, there is nothing happening here along this dam wall. I mean, nothing. We got that one bluegill there by the, whatever that metal contraption is, sticking out in the water. But I mean, there's nothing down through. I thought we would tear up some bass here, or even some bluegill, because there's probably algae and stuff on this concrete, which I thought might keep some shad there. Now, I am seeing some stuff over here. There's some sporadic schools right there in the middle. You see them busting? I don't know if y'all can see looking into the sun. There ain't nothing happening over here, though. Let's, I said I wasn't going to do this earlier, but we're about to do it. We're going to go over here to the shoreline, because I mean, I'm seeing stuff busting right over here. Well, I said I wasn't going to do it, and I guess I'm still not going to, because I'm going to run over here and try to cast at these. I was going to throw this Gulp minnow behind me and troll it over here, even though I said I wasn't going to do that. It would end up a tangled mess if we were trying to troll the ultralight rod and the other rods too, because we wouldn't be able to get control of fish easily with the ultralight. But if we were just only trolling this rod, we could do it. But these are so close, we're going to try to run over here and cast to them. Watch them be gone by the time we get over here. I don't know what those are. Oh, we got some more to the left over here too. I'm going to try to get these right here if I can get to them. They're going crazy right here. Oh, here's something. But they're right here on us. Bigger, there was a couple right here. Bigger schools right over here though. I think those are skipjack. Right out here in the middle of the damn reservoir right here. 60, 70 feet deep of water. They're right here at the surface. But they've chased these shad. Of course we get over here and they're gone. Just, again, that's why I'm such a big proponent of trolling. For that very reason. By the time you run up on the school, they're gone. You can spend all day chasing. I mean, completely gone. Disappeared. There's some more over there. Back over yonder. I said I wasn't going to do this. I kind of want to though. Let's make one circle here. Let's let out some line on our ultralight. I'm only going to throw out this rod. Let's just make one lap right around through here, in between these buoys where we're seeing these fish. If we hook one, it'll be a good time on this ultralight. This is stupid. This is dumb, but we're just out here having fun. Come with me, folks. Let's see if we just can't hook one. Hook one of them skipjack. There comes another bass fishing kayak right up there. He's got looks like a Hobie. He's headed up the hill. He'll be over in a minute. Quite a bit of boat traffic here for Friday. It'll be double this, triple it tomorrow. Being a weekend. Yeah, I'm seeing some activity out here, which is honestly surprising with the sun being fully out now. But it's out here right in the middle of the damn reservoir, which is probably 60, 70 feet deep right here. But they're out here right in the middle, chasing these shad. We'll just troll this ultralight. I just want to... Catching these bigger fish on the ultralight, it's so much fun. You got to take your time. A lot of people don't have the patience to do it. If you're releasing fish, it can be, you know, the moral argument. Are you exhausting them? Are they building up too much lactic acid? You know, so I get all that. But just from a tug of war, just a fun perspective, it's fun. It's hard to beat it. The lighter the tackle, the more fun the fishing. Honestly, my fear, and I get this a lot from people, is why don't you use lighter tackle for catfishing? And the appeal, it's not that I don't want to, like the appeal is there. My concern always is that I'm gonna finally hook that 100+ pound fish, you know, get that triple digit fish. And I'm gonna hook it on a light action rod and light line. And that's gonna be my once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm gonna blow it because I'm on inappropriate size tackle. That's my reasoning for not doing that. And I've done it some. I got one, there was a few years ago. I'm trying to think when this video would have come out, because I've got it on video happening. I'm wanting to say it would have been 2019 or 2020. I can't remember, but it was in the middle of the spawn. It was in June. And I was drifting, and I had a light action rod out. I hooked a big fish. I mean, a big fish. And then I had another rod go down. One of my regular rods went down. Big fish. I ended up breaking off the light tackle one. And the one I reeled up was massive. It was one of my biggest fish of the year. I had my measuring board with me. It was 50 inches on the measuring board. Huge. And that fish, that particular, I can't remember the title of the video, but many of y'all longtime viewers will remember it because it was the fish that I had caught for a second time. It had that dot on its head. And I had caught it in that same general area of the river there, like 5 years before. It was 2020, I think, because I'd caught it in 2015, and then I caught it again in 2020. And I had hooked one right before I caught that one. I guess it had a friend with it, because I hooked it on the light tackle rod, but I broke off. And so I've been a little hesitant to do the lighter tackle stuff for the catfish, just because of the fact that you just never know when you're going to get that once in a lifetime opportunity. And do you want to have that once in a lifetime opportunity hooked up to a bass rod and 12-pound line or something? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, oh, by damn, here comes a boat. There's some people that was in our way earlier when we were trying to troll. They've come down this way now. I'll tell you what, let's do. I was going to circle back around and go over there to the shoreline and start working the gulp. Let's circle up this way, because they're coming this way. We'll go that way. We'll get over there on the shoreline and we'll throw the gulp that direction. I want to get us over there in the shade. I don't know if y'all are hot, but I'm hot. We've reached that point in the day where it's miserable out here. Between the heat and the humidity, it sucks right now. We need to get in the shade. I'm just surprisingly still seeing these schools, smaller schools now. They're not the big, 100 fish schools that we saw earlier at sunrise, but there are still just smaller, sporadic schools out here hitting the surface in, like, well, I turned the camera over there and they're gone. But it looks like, 2 or 3, maybe 5 skipjack come up. Right over there to the left. Of course, I point them out and they ain't gonna do it again. But they're just small, sporadic packs. Yeah, we'll troll our way over here. Get around these people, get some distance. I don't like talking on camera around people. And then we'll get over here and work the shoreline. Oh, that's a big school right over there. You see that? Toward the shoreline? Big school of them. Oh, God almighty, they've seen it too. They're going to turn around. I don't care which way they go. I just want them to pick a direction. Pick where they want to go. Yeah, they're going to go try to chase them down now. Well, I wish I knew what the hell they were doing. I don't care. I mean, we can go over there and fish. We can go that way and fish. They need to go somewhere. Okay, let's go. They're going back that way, so let's go over here. Look, they're chasing that school of white bass down. They're gone. They come up for a second, they're gone. They're not going to catch a damn thing now. There they are busting again. They might get them one. I tell you, it's hard to chase these schools, man. I guess if you're in a boat, you could chase them a little bit more easily. You can go faster. But boy, when you're in kayak, you can only go so fast. This was the most of the recent days that I've been out here though. This is the most surface activity that I have seen this late into the morning. Now, I didn't see as much surface activity at sunrise this morning as I have in recent days. Like, there's been some days I've been out here recently, like the water's just erupting everywhere. But there was obviously, you know, a lot of fish here this morning. But it's been lately when the sun peeks over the trees, like it's done, it's over. Like they're gone. All right. We'll go over here. We'll start working this shoreline here this way, in the shade, of course. And we'll catch us some fish over here. What we really need today is a smallmouth and a yellow bass. That's what we need, or something exotic, like a drum or something. Something different. So we've got bluegill, skipjack, largemouth, white bass. We need a yellow bass and a smallmouth. I'm more optimistic for the smallmouth than I am the yellow bass. I thought if we were going to get a yellow bass, probably be over there along the weed line by the boat ramp. There's something chasing right there. Watching them people over there going after that school of white bass, think none of them, they ain't caught a damn thing. All right, let's make us some casts here. We've enough goofing around, y'all. We got to get serious about catching some fish here. I just wanted to troll one lap around with this ultralight. I said I wasn't going to do it and how I'd done it. I'm wishy-washy. Got one right there. I felt him hit it. Small bluegill. I got on some good quality bluegill. I filmed a video here, ultralight fishing. Gosh, has it been 2 months? It's been a while. In this little pocket here, I got on, but I think they were spawning then. But I got on some really good quality. I mean, 8+ inches bluegill. Well, hell, there goes them people that way now. They can't make up their mind what the hell they're doing. They're all over the place. They're like me today. We're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. We're seeing fish busting. It's like we've never seen it before. We don't know what the hell we're doing. Nobody can make up their mind. It's like going to that restaurant Swig that me and the girlfriend went to, and you got so many damn options you don't know what to pick. I didn't care for it though. It's just like I never go to Sonic, but when I do, I don't get any flavoring in my Coke or my Pepsi, you know. I don't do it. It's just, oh, something nailed me. This is definitely bigger than the last one. Oh, he had a bass. Did you see that? There was a little bass that followed him out. The bass wasn't much bigger than the bluegill, but by gosh, he was after him. Bluegill. Wasn't very big, but he hit it hard. But yeah, I didn't care. The girlfriend liked it. I didn't care for it. it's like $4 or $5. It's basically, I mean, the business plan, I guess, is smart because you can charge way more money for a cheap drink. They don't serve any food other than just cookies and stuff. It's not like an ice cream shop. I just don't understand how they're gonna stay in business. Like, I was like, I told the girlfriend, I was like, this place will be closed down in a month. She's like, oh, they're real popular, they're all over. This is apparently the first one in Tennessee or something. I was like, I don't see it. I'm like, if people was that into putting stuff in their Cokes and Mountain Dews and whatnot, Sonic would get more business. And Sonic can't get any business. They're one of those restaurants that I think could potentially be out of business at some point in the next 5 to 10 years as people move away from fast food, because they're awful. Sonic milkshakes are pretty good, but beyond that, like, ugh. I'm almost getting nauseous just thinking about it. I just got to the point lately, I'd rather cook my own food at home. I've never been the type to cook my own food. I'm a terrible cook. I can use the grill. That's why I eat steak every day. But I'd rather eat food that I cook than go somewhere, unless it's a nicer restaurant, like we go to Longhorn or something. Get a nicer place to eat, or we got a little diner here in my town, Donna's Diner. They're really good. Donna's is another one, like, it's cheap to eat there. I mean, it's real cheap. I don't know how they can do it. Like, you can go, I'm gonna talk myself into going to Donna's today. Today's Friday, it's catfish day there. I don't want catfish. I may end up going there and getting a burger or something though. But like, they've got a special there at Donna's every day. Well, they're only open. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, but Saturday is like breakfast only. So basically Tuesday through Friday, they're open for lunch. They ain't never open for dinner. But they got a special every day. And you can go in there and get a meat and 2 sides, and it's like $7.50. Now, you can't get a fast food, you can't get a lousy cheeseburger fast food extra value meal anywhere for $7.50. And, you know, Donna's, you get a whole plate of food, meat and 2 sides. You know, it's a whole plate of good food. Like Tuesdays is, what's Tuesday? I think Tuesday's cube steak as the special. Wednesdays is either meatloaf or barbecue, and their barbecue's really good. I'm not really into meatloaf, but I like the barbecue. Thursdays is a mystery day. It rotates all the time. Sometimes it's country fried steak, sometimes it's chicken casserole. It's always good no matter what. And then Friday's catfish. And then they got other stuff too, you know, you can get whatever. They got a menu of stuff you can get. But the special, meat and 2 sides, $7.50. You can't beat it. So I go there, you know, I'll go eat lunch there a couple times a week usually. But beyond that, man, I just don't care for eating out anymore. But the girlfriend, like I said, she wanted to go try this swig place last night. And we tried it. It'll be the last time I try it. We went back to the house after that, and I grilled, and we've been watching this superhero show on Amazon called The Boys. And finally, they posted a new season here recently. We had watched the first, I don't know what season it's on, 3 or 4. We'd watched the first ones years ago, and then I guess with the writer's strike in Hollywood and all that, they had a delay for this season, but it's out, and it's been good. And then there's another show that's a kind of a spin-off to this called Gen V. It's younger kids, and they're tying in some of the characters from The Boys. And this, if you haven't watched it, a lot of you probably don't have Amazon Prime. You pretty much have to have Amazon Prime nowadays if you want to watch football this fall. But it's a really good show, and it seems to me more realistic than a normal superhero. Like, I've always been a fan of Batman. Like, Batman has always been my favorite superhero because I view Batman as being realistic. It's totally not realistic, but the idea that some billionaire vigilante with all these high-tech gadgets, somebody that's not like superhuman, just a normal person like me or you, with unlimited resources, like that could happen. Like, there could be a Batman. I mean, he's not going to jump off buildings and be able to survive like Batman does. But you know what I mean? Like, there really could be a billionaire vigilante out there somewhere with high-tech gadgets taking out criminals in the middle of the night. Like, that could exist. There could be Batman. I don't believe there's Superman or Spider-Man or Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like, those are just, even as a kid, when my imagination was better, I just never, I watched those movies. I had some of the comic books and stuff, but I was never super into Superman or Spider-Man or X-Men, things like that. Like, it's just, I need some, and I've always been like this, I need some realism with my sci-fi. And Batman, to me, was always more realistic. So I've always been more into Batman. And here's the other thing. And as a kid, and these superhero shows, we're not going to work too far back into this pocket here because it's real shallow and tons of snags. We're going to get out here on the channel and work. These superheroes and comic books and whatnot. Oh, fish. Go to pick up on it and he's there. What is this? I don't know what this is. If it's a bluegill, it's a big one. What is? Oh, it is. That's a big bluegill. Big bluegill right here. Holy cow, look at this thing, y'all. I went to pick up on it and he was there. Yes, look at this thing. Man. We'll throw this in on him. This one here is worthy of the measuring board. Where is my measuring board? There it is. I remember to bring, I come prepared today. I had the net and I had the measuring board. I bet you he's 8 inches. He is almost just shy of 8 1/4 right there. He may actually hit 8 1/4. That's a dang good bluegill right there, man. That's awesome. We'll see you, buddy. Nice, y'all. All right, well, let's throw over there again. Let's do that again, man. I love getting those larger fish on the ultralight. That bluegill there, he's obviously not pulling like a 2-pound skipjack or a 1.5 pound white bass or something, but still, it's fun, man. I really wish I'd spent more time ultralight fishing this morning when everything was going crazy. I should have. We needed bait though. We've done the responsible thing. We've got our bait. We could have maybe got it this morning with the ultralight, but we know doing what we did worked. But anyway, on the superhero topic. superheroes, comic books and stuff, obviously made for kids. So it's an emphasis on high morals and character and doing the right thing and all that nonsense. But as you get older, you become wise into the ways of the world in your adult years. You realize what a crock that is. If somebody really had superpowers, are we really going to have the superheroes? Are you going to have the Superman, the Spider-Man, Iron Man, the guys who are fighting crime and doing right? Probably not. You're probably going to have a situation kind of like this TV show on Amazon, The Boys, where the superheroes are all just huge egos, narcissistic, look down upon the humans for being inferior and weak. Like, that's probably more realistic. I mean, granted, you got people with superpowers that's totally unrealistic. But if a situation existed with superheroes, I'm more inclined to believe that they would look at us humans as being inferior beings, right? And so, here's a fish. So I think that shows a lot more realistic to what it would be like in real life versus Spider-Man or something like, one of those type characters. Here's another big bluegill, man. This is another hand-sized one. Look at this thing. Boy, here's another one. I don't know if this one's as long as the last one, but he's every bit as thick as the last one. I'm just curious, bluegill, will you be calm enough for me to put you on the board? I don't know if you're going to hit 8 inches or not, but I mean, he's thick. He's not. He's short. He's probably like 7.5-ish. But I mean, that's another just, I mean, got some meat on him right there. There's a, I don't know if y'all can see it with the lighting. I got my glasses on and polarized lenses let me see a little bit. There's a log. I threw that one a little too far. Right there. I'm gonna let that thing sink down, and that last cast was on this side of that log, and that's where that one had hit. I got another one right there too. Got to let it go down a little further. My gosh, they're there. Yeah, man. In hindsight, this morning, I wish I'd spent. Oh, bum! This is another good one. There are some big bluegill right here on this log. Let's just duties and giggles. Bear with me. I'm just curious. He'll graze that 8-inch mark. Another 8-incher right there, man. Look at that. That's awesome. I love doing this, man. This is so much fun. If we didn't need bait today, I would have totally, I mean, even if I had just been maybe stocking up on bait for a catfish trip. Because since I've been mostly catfishing out of this kayak lately, I don't need much bait. Because I'm only fishing 2 rods. But if it was a normal day, like we could have made a whole morning of just ultralight fishing with all that surface activity going on. And I would have had a blast. Come out here with 1 rod and some Gulp, man. Simple as it gets. Just a kayak and 1 rod. I mean, I've got my graph mounted on this kayak now. Like, I've got it set up so I can catfish more easily in this thing now. Drift fish anyway, more easily. But I mean, we've not turned it on today. We've not needed it. That's just a basic graph. It's going to show us depth and speed and water temperature. And out here today, I mean, we're just, with us, when we were trolling around and even casting toward the schools of fish that were busting, like depth didn't matter because they're after those schools of shad fry. So it didn't matter the depth, like they're relating to the shad school, not a particular depth or structure. So that's irrelevant. We know our speed doesn't have to be precise. Like we know, like I mentioned there, anywhere between 2.5 miles an hour, my casual pedaling pace, that's going to get us bit. So speed doesn't matter. Water temperature, again, who cares? It's hotter than damn it. That's your water temperature right now. It's probably 80, mid 80s probably is our surface temps right now. But who cares? Because we can see exactly where the fish are at. Like that graph serves no purpose for us today. So there was no reason to turn it on. And in fact, and I don't know that this is true. This is just some catfishermen out there. I'm circling back here so we can get a better angle on this log here, folks. Some catfishermen, a lot of catfishermen actually, believe this to be true. Whether or not it is, I don't know. I do believe it is. Oh, I had one. Missed him. There he is again. I missed him the first time and got him when he come back for it. This is another good one right here. This is another good one, buddy. They are right out there in front of that log, man. Still like, oh yes, it's another big one. I got these big fish here a couple months ago. They were on the other side over there. I think they were spawning, but I think they're up today. Look at this thing. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Look how thick he is, man. Holy cow. He got that jig a little bit deeper in the mouth, but he's fine. We'll get it out easily. Look at that one, y'all. Just lay right there and be good. That's another one. He's easily over 8 1/4. He's shy of 8 1/2. Easily over 8 1/4 though. Another solid gill, man. Oh, I love it. Well, let's do that again. Let's cast right back over there. But I was trying to say, a lot of catfishermen believe that the electronics, the frequency of that transducer will spook skipjack fish. Oh, I lost him. He popped free. I don't know if that's true or not. On the live scope, I have seen situations where I'm kind of, let's change out our Gulp. That one there is all tore up. I've seen situations with live scope where those skipjack will stay on the edge. Like if I'm running that transducer beam, my forward facing sonar, like if I'm running it at 50 feet, they'll stay right at 50 feet. Like they'll stay on the edge of it. As I get closer to them, they'll stay on the edge of that beam. But the forward-facing sonar is a different frequency than the traditional 2D sonar. I think one of them's like a sound wave or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm not educated enough on the technology. I don't care enough to educate myself on it. But either way, there's a lot of catfishermen that believe that you shouldn't be running your electronics when you're skipjack fishing because it'll spook them, that they're just more sensitive to that frequency. I don't know if that's true or not. I've caught a lot of skipjack with my sonar on. I've caught skipjack that were actively busting where I have trolled through the school with the sonar on, and when my bait's behind me got caught up to the school, both rods go down. Like, that's happened a lot. But in those situations, fish are obviously very aggressive. They're actively feeding. They're probably going to be less likely to care as much about your sonar. If you're in a day where maybe they're a little bit more reluctant to bite, or maybe they're a little bit more spooky. Maybe they've been chased a little bit. Maybe there's some striped bass in the area that's maybe there's some stripers around that's been working them, and they're just a little bit more on edge. Maybe in those situations, you're going to have fish that are more spooked by your sonar, possibly. So I don't know if it's really true or not, but what I do know is that when we're fishing like we're doing today, we don't need any damn sonar. We don't need no live scope. We don't need no 2D. We don't need anything. We needed our eyes this morning to see where them fish were at, busting, and that was it. That was it. But yeah, thankfully I'll be able to come back over here a few more times before this video comes out, and really, I may film over here again. I don't know, I may come back one day and film another video with just the ultralight or something. Do what I wish I'd done this morning. This bite will go on all summer. It'll just be, it won't be as intense once this, the shad fry. And I don't even, I mean, this will be interesting to know. Obviously a bunch of them survive because we have a ton of threadfin shad. But those shad, I mean, the mortality rate of those shad fry has to be high, because I mean, that one bass that we caught, he was a small bass. But I mean, he puked up, what, 10 or 12 of them shad fry? And every one of these fish, like that was the only one that I've noticed puke today. But I promise you, man, we cut open these white bass and these skipjack at the tournament up there, and we'll find all kinds of shad fry in their belly. Like they'll just be gorged with them shad fry. So like the mortality rate of them things got to be pretty high, but they obviously survive because there's a million threadfin shad. Yeah, I think John's getting off. I'm pretty sure that's John over there. He was in the Hobie there. He beat me on the water day. Like, he was already on the water when I got here. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'll message him later and find out. He's a good dude. I didn't want to crowd him this morning, but I was wanting to go right where he was at. Thankfully, he moved on pretty quick. He only does bass fishing. So he wouldn't have been interested in what we were after. I used to see him all the time at the weeknight bass tournaments, but I ain't fished the weeknight bass tournaments, and I ain't fished one all year. I ain't fished any bass tournaments this year. I ain't been in the mood. You know, my friends, pro moderator and pro neighbor and stuff, like they haven't been fishing the weeknight bass tournament. Holly and Pro Mines, Pro Mines sold his kayak 2 or 3 years ago, got him a boat, so he's been out of it. Pro moderator and pro neighbor ain't been fishing it. They've been fishing some of the bigger trails, weekends and traveling and stuff. I don't think Mullet Man fishes anymore. Like the people the weeknight tournaments around here still happen. They still do them. But I bet you if I showed up, I might not know 1 or 2 people. Probably all I knew. I'd have to make new friends. I don't want to make any friends. I just can't. I'm at my capacity. I'm too old. I can't make new friends. Unless some of my current friends die off, I can't add any new ones. My phone dings too much now as it is. So I just haven't, I haven't been fishing this year. I just ain't been in the mood. It would be ideal fishing one of those 3-hour evening tournaments for this style of video though. I mean, I'm a terrible bass fisherman, so there wouldn't be a lot of action, but with me typically letting this camera run nonstop for 3 or 4 hours, and them tournaments, they fish 6 to 9. I don't even know, they used to fish on Thursday, then they moved to Wednesday. I don't know what night they're on this year. May still be Wednesday. But 6 to 9, that's still daylight enough at 9 o'clock to be able to film. At least right now, anyway. Well, our bite over here with these bluegill has seemed to have wore off here. I'm gonna make one more cast over here before we move on, though. I hate not to, with us having caught so many big fish right there off that log. I don't know if you could see that log, but it come out at an angle. And there was a bunch of fish on it. I couldn't see the fish with my glasses, but I could see the log. Let that thing go down deep right now. All right, well, let's move along. We'll see what else we stumble into. You throw this bait enough, you find fish. You get on them. You'll go through dead stretches and can't buy a fish, and then all of a sudden you'll have your streak, get you several in a row, and they'll quit biting, and you move on and do it again. I really would like to, I don't even care how big a smallmouth it is. I'd just like to get one just to get another species today, because we've got such a variety so far. It wouldn't hurt my feelings to see some more fish busting the surface around us too if they come up. I ain't seeing as much surface activity now. Look, I don't see anything going on right now. But the sun's getting higher and higher. We're still in the shade over here where we're at, which is really convenient because it is just nasty. Oh, I missed him. He had it, and I let him. I had too much slack when I set the hook. Don't let me forget, I need to get a picture for my thumbnail before we leave, y'all. Don't let me forget to do that. I'm bad about that. Like, I'll fish and then leave and get home, do the video, get it uploading, be like, oh crap, I forgot to take a picture. Oh, well, I had another one hit me then as I was reeling it in. There's something over there. That's twice now I've missed a fish. I want to bust his jaw one time. Let me reel it in a little slower this time. He learned his lesson, I guess. Let me just check my live baits too. They're still alive in there. It would be a challenge for sure to keep them alive for 2 days in this heat, but I will try to keep them iced down best I can. Keep that water cool, it helps. Plus we only got 2 of them in there. So not overcrowding is a big help too. People have asked me about that bait tank setup, and all it is a 5-gallon bucket. Now I made me a lid. I took the normal 5-gallon bucket lid that comes with it that you just kind of mash down on there, and I cut out the top of it so that you could put a 6-inch kayak hatch. That's what that is, that bucket lid. It's a 6-inch kayak hatch. Let me show you a second. Watch that bait get eaten right here, so I've got this rod hanging over. But you can get them hatches there on Amazon. They're like 10 bucks or something. But I'd cut, this right here is the 5-gallon bucket lid, the white part. I'd cut out a circle in it so that this can fit down in there and just run a couple screws to hold the hatch in place. But now I've got me a lid I can easily open up and down versus popping this, you know, it's harder to get this lid on and off, especially when you're trying to put in live baits and stuff. So, but people ask me where I get that bait tank, how to make it, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, it's just a cheap 5-gallon bucket. Here's a fish. 5-gallon bucket cost a few dollars. The hatch was 10 bucks. Like that's about it. Well, we got, look right here. We got a green sunfish. Add that to the species list today. These have the bigger, they're like a bluegill, kinda, but they've got the bigger mouths than bluegill. Tend to catch these around rocky areas, which we've got some rocks right here. They're oftentimes really tight to the shoreline around them rocks. And they're fun to catch too when you get some that are a little bit larger in size. I think I had another one hit me. Yeah, that bait tank there, you know, and of course I just got that Amazon special pump aerator. But that setup works well. If you get anything bigger than about 5 gallons, here's your fish. Wonder if this ain't another sunfish. No, it's bluegill. Small bluegill. If you get anything more than about 5 gallons in a kayak, it gets tough to manage weight-wise. Because you're not going to transport the bait tank in the kayak when you go from the lake to home and stuff. So you're gonna have to move the bait tank into your car or truck or whatever your vehicle. And 5 gallons is heavy enough. I had a 10 gallon. And there may still be a video on my channel. I had made a 10 gallon tank out of I took a garbage can, a Rubbermaid, I think it was a Rubbermaid Brute model garbage can, 10 gallons. Here's, we got a fish. This is gonna pull a little bit. I had done that several years ago, but I mean, you know, you get 10 gallons of water, 8 pounds a gallon, that's 80 pounds you're lifting and moving around. I think this here is that a red breast sunfish? Oh, well, he's gone. It was a little bit different too than a normal bluegill. But you know, you're trying to lug 80 pounds around, going from your kayak to your car, back and forth. Like, that's a lot of weight. And it gets to be a hassle. So the lighter weight you can keep it, the better you're gonna be. It's just, plus space too. Your space in a kayak is limited, obviously. You've got weight capacity issues with kayaks. Oh, fish. You wanna obviously keep your weight as, the less weight you have in your kayak, the better your kayak's going to perform. Of quick release on that one. He was barely flesh hooked there. We got some fish here along these rocks. But I mean, you know, you got a bait tank in your kayak. That's 80 pounds. You know, 10 gallon anyway. Like that's a lot. And so it was such a burden. So I've tried various different bait tanks through the years, and this is kind of the one. Here's one. Oh, I lied to you. Oh, got it free. I set the hook on a snag. We're going to pretend that was the big fish. That was the big fish that got away right there. I was pretty convinced it was a fish when I picked up on it. But of all the bait tanks I've tried, that 5 gallon works best for me. Like you can't put huge live baits in there. But most of the time, honestly, like I want baits that are ideally 8 to 10 inches. Crappie, I'll certainly use bigger baits with them. I'll use 12, 13 inch crappie, but I can fit those in that bucket too. They don't fit in there well. They're not living their best life in that bucket, but you can fit them in there. And the 5 gallons, you can't put a lot in there, obviously. But if you keep your water cool and you keep your water changed out, like most of the time, if I catch bait, I'm going to be using it pretty quickly. I'm not trying to keep live baits for more than 2 or 3 days usually. And as long as you do a water change and keep your water cool, like you can usually keep them alive. As long as you don't overcrowd them. Right now it's the heat. The heat will get you more than anything. That 5 gallon bucket, man, you leave it out, you let that thing heat up. I mean, 90-degree air temps right now, like that's really hot water. It stresses those fish. So cool your water temperature down, keep it aerated. If you're going to be keeping bait more than about 2 days, do a water change. You can keep them alive. The hardier baits anyway. You're not going to keep skipjack alive. It's hard to keep skipjack alive in a large bait tank. Definitely not going to do it. Oh, there's a fish. Boy, he was swimming with it, man. I went to pick up on it. He's swimming with it. I saw my line just, phew. The line wasn't really making that sound, but you know what I mean. Is this a bass? This is a bigger fish right here, man. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I'm wondering if it's not a bass. He's not coming up and jumping, so could it be a white bass potentially? Could it be a yellow bass? Could we finally have our yellow bass today? That would be awesome. A largemouth. It's a largemouth. He didn't jump. There he goes. Give us what we paid for here, largemouth. Give us a show, by gosh. He says he don't work for me. He don't do tricks. Get in that net. I'm gonna net you at least. I'll make him feel bigger anyway, won't I? Boy, we've had an active morning out here. We've had everything biting today. I mean, everything's been going good. All right. He ain't very big. I can stick him on the board. I probably shouldn't, no bigger than he is. He's probably 10 inches, 11 inches, maybe 12. We'll see. He's bigger than I thought. He's about 12 and a half inches. Fun time on the ultralight though, man. Again, it don't take big fish. It don't take big fish to put a big bend in your ultralight. And this Gulp today, look at what all we've caught. We've caught everything with the Gulp. Every type of species of fish we've caught today, we've got at least one on the Gulp. He got me wet in the face. Did he get y'all? No, y'all survived it again. Yeah, all these fish are fun on the ultralight. Yeah, you know, live baits, I don't remember what I was talking about with the live baits, but I don't do live bait fishing a lot just because of the hassle of them. But the size that I typically use, I can keep alive in that 5 gallon, just taking some precautions. The weight of it is manageable going back and forth from the kayak to the car. It is 40 pounds we're putting in here, but doable. You know, it's not a lot of extra weight. This kayak is a little bit more, this kayak's a little bit more difficult for the bait tank and a cooler just because of my rear tank well. The size of it's not very big. What I can do and what I've done in the past, I didn't do it today, probably should have in hindsight, but what I have done is put the live bait tank on that front hatch because it'll sit there just fine, and that way we can have our cooler in the back. This kayak can easily support the weight of that bait tank up there. But that kind of keeps it forward, keeps it out of the way. It's easier to get in and out of. But I wanted to have me a couple live baits if I could for this Hoover tournament. So here's what happened last year. So last year we had that tournament in early May, and the crappie bite, the catfish bite was on too, but the crappie bite was incredible during that time. They were spawning, and we were getting a bunch of big crappie, real shallow. I mean, it was awesome. And so the day before the tournament, I had went out there and loaded up on crappie, and I'd kept some in my cooler for cut bait, but I'd also kept some alive. I was going to take some live baits in the tournament. Well, my bait pump, and it's, you know, again, I've got that Amazon special bait pump there. That one's a different one. Hold on, can you see down in the water right here? See there's a million of them little shad fry right there. I don't know if you can see. I got the polarized glasses on. There's a million of them right there. There's got to be some fish around them probably. But anyway, I had that same style of aerator pump. It was a different one. It crapped out on me. I had carried my damn bait tank into the hotel the night before the tournament, which, you know, huge pain in the butt to do that. Y'all know how it is. You travel somewhere, you got to carry in batteries to charge. If you got bait tank, got to carry it in. I'd done all that, got it in the hotel, and at some point while I was sleeping that night, my pump died. And I had so many dang crappie in that thing, like they all ended up dying. Every one of them was dead that morning. So I didn't have any live baits in tournament, which, would we have done any good on the live bait? I don't know, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to have them. Just try them. Because if we get something to eat one of them white bass there, and them white bass we kept, what do you think? They're probably 8-inch range, right? We get something to eat, one of them 8-inch white bass, like it's going to be a good fish to do it. Now Hoover's got some 40-inch class fish. Like they've got some. Right now, people I've talked to up there, they're not getting caught with much frequency right now, but they're in there. There's some good quality fish in there. And so you put a big white bass, a big live bait in front of their face, I'm thinking we might could bust something. And here's the thing. So we got a fish hit me right there, didn't hook up. Here's the other scenario that I thought we might could benefit from the live baits up there. Again, Hoover, it's it's a reservoir. It's not like, it's nowhere near as big as out here where we're at today. But I mean, it's big enough. But I think most of the people in the tournament are going to be on the upper end. We're all going to be doing the same thing in the same place, because that upper end is basically one big flat. It's like a big mud flat up there. So we're all going to be trolling. Everybody's going to be dragging baits. Everybody's going to be doing the same damn thing in the same damn place. We go through there with a live bait, a live white bass, and nobody else is using that. Maybe we're offering those fish something a little different that they're not seeing go by their face every 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe we can get a bite that the next person can't. Fish. Bluegill. So anyway, I don't know. We may not catch anything on the live baits. It may be a total waste of time. But I thought it's worth a shot. What the heck? Because we're just going up there. We go up there that time, we're just going fishing, man. My pre-fishing day sucked. I had a hard time getting bait up there. I mean, I caught a bunch of bluegill, caught a bunch of crappie, just couldn't get anything with any size. I did a session where I tried to catch some carp and buffalo, got completely skunked, and then my catfish trip, my catfish session just, there's one. I got 4 small fish. So I think we'll get bit. I think we'll catch fish. I don't think we'll catch a lot, but I don't think we're gonna go up there and get skunked. But I don't know what it's gonna take. This is a good fish right here, man. It's a nice bluegill. It's got some weight to him. I'm gonna put you on the board. I don't know if you're gonna hit 8 inches or not, but I'm just curious. Oh, he's just shy of it, man. Just barely shy of 8 inches. Get on out of here, bluegill. You come back when you're a hair bigger. But I don't think it's going to take necessarily a big score to win this tournament or to cash in it. But I think we're going to catch some fish. But the fish that I did catch, 3 out of 4 was on the balloon rig. And they hit the artificial. I had a jig, a hair jig, and they hit it. I had the balloon, piece of cut bait, and then the hair jig, and they hit the hair jig. So I'm gonna run that. I'm gonna run that rig. I think I'm gonna run, I think my plan's gonna be, I'm gonna start out running 2 balloon rigs, 1 dragging, probably do live bait on one of the balloon rigs to start. And we're just gonna go fishing, man. Just hope to get lucky. We get our limit, luck into maybe 1 good fish. Who knows what happens? But when you're in a situation like I feel like we're gonna be in, where you're gonna have a bunch of people kind of all in the same area doing the same thing, if you can make yourself stand out somehow, whether it's a different kind of bait, a different kind of variation to your rig, a different, live bait versus cut, whatever. If you can do something to stand out, I don't think it's going to hurt your cause. So I had talked to a couple fellows up there. When I was up there, they had recognized me from my YouTube channel and stuff. They talked to me there at the boat ramp, and they were actually what really motivated me to come out here and try to get some white bass, because they had talked about how the white bass had been doing well up there as far as catching fish, but they were having a hard time catching the white bass to use. And I thought, well, that's not a problem for me, because I know I can get the white bass here and just, oh, that's fish. I'll just get them here and take them with me, So we'll try live UNCUT. We'll see what happens. Boy, it's another good bluegill right here, man. Boy, we are on some good quality bluegill today. I am digging it, man. I'll take that gulp back, Mr. Bluegill, and we'll give you your moment of fame here. Oh, easy. Easy, don't spike me in my feet, my well-manicured feet here. That one there, too, is just, yeah, he'll touch that 8-inch line. He'll graze it. Nice. Nice. But yeah, I was like, I know I can take some white bass with me, get them here, and I don't think we'll do any worse on the white bass than what we done with the bluegill up there on my practice session. These live baits, though, I'll cut them, get them bleeding. That way, when they're struggling, they'll be putting off some scent too. But yeah, I really like Hoover Reservoir. I like it mainly because of the horsepower restriction. With it being maximum 10 horsepower, you don't get the idiots there that you do places like out here. But we're fishing there at a really bad time. Like we just, you know, we had a good tournament there last year in early May, and for some reason they scheduled our tournament this year middle of daggone summer, and it's like, why do it now? But you know, everybody, for tournament purposes, everybody will be in the same conditions. You know, we're all in the same thing. It's just, it'd be nice to have a little better opportunity for more big fish, fishing there at a different time. Me traveling and stuff, I obviously want to, if I'm gonna travel somewhere, I want to travel at the right time to maximize my chances. We've got a break after this tournament. This will probably be my last little trip here for, well, I don't know, I may go somewhere else in between. We've got a break though after this tournament. The next one's not until September. And the one in September is on Wheeler in Alabama. So that should be, there should be some big fish caught in that one. And then, so that's September. October, we go to Louisiana, fish the Mississippi River. There should be some big fish caught in that. I'm looking forward to that trip. Like that's the one on the tournament trail. I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that one. I don't care about the tournament per se. I just want to go down there and fish. And then, I think it's November 1st or 2nd. It's that first week of November, we go to Santee Cooper in South Carolina. I can't remember the exact date. I think it's November 1st, whatever the Saturday is. So, yeah, 4 tournaments left on the schedule. If you're dying to know how I've done in the tournament, by the time you're seeing this video, obviously the tournament's already over, so you can go to my YouTube community tab. I've probably listed the scoreboard there. We've got a live leaderboard in our tournaments because our tournaments are catch, photo, release tournaments. So we take a picture on our approved measuring board with a date, time, GPS stamp, all that. Gets submitted to a live leaderboard. Normally, before the tournament, I will make a post on the YouTube community tab and just let everybody know that wants to follow along with the tournament. I'll give you the link there to the leaderboard so you can see. And so, and I like to, if there's some event happening, like Catfish Sumo, for instance. Oh crap! I went over 2 branches. Oh boy, I just threw it right back in our face too. We got it back though. We got lucky right there. I went over 2 branches and somehow got that thing back. Miracles happen, folks. But like if there's an event going on, like the Catfish Sumo open house at our tournament check-in, for instance, there at Chickamauga and Nickajack tournaments, I'll make a post about that so that if anybody wants to come and hang out or anything, you can do so. And I know there's a couple people that had already reached out about this Hoover tournament that were wanting to come and meet me there at the check-in and stuff. So I will have made a post about it if you're interested in the tournament results before seeing the tournament video, which, again, if I've caught fish, there should be a tournament video coming next. If I get skunked, well, you'll see that post and see that I put up as big 0. But I know I got a couple channel members that was going to come. So I'm looking forward to meeting them. You know, we've talked about this on these videos numerous times. I'm very antisocial. Like, I don't like interacting with people. I try to avoid people as much as possible. But if I know the interaction is going to take place, I'm a lot better with it. You know what I mean? Like, I can kind of, I guess, look forward to it almost, in a sense, especially if it's people like my channel members that I want to meet. Where I struggle is when I get, let's say I come out and, you know, a lot of times when I go fishing, it's days where quite honestly, I just want to be left alone. Like, I just want to be by myself. And so when people come up to me on the water or holler at me and stuff, I get annoyed with it real easily. I shouldn't, but I do, because I just, you know, it's days where I just don't want to interact with people. But if it's a situation, here's another fish. I missed him, I dropped him. If it's a situation where, like, there's an event and I know I'm going to have human interaction and I know who I'm going to be interacting with, it's a lot better for me. I can just, it's just better. I'm in better spirits, I guess. Going out fishing on a day where I don't want to interact with anybody and then I'm forced to interact with people, it's just, it's different. It's a different mindset. I'm not as good with it. I've got to come up with something, though, for when people holler at me and stuff when I'm filming these unedited videos. Well, that was a big splash. I think that was a carp. That last trip up there at Sandusky, I had some people holler at me while I was filming, and I wasn't in the mood to people that day, for sure. And they're hollering at me, and I'm trying to film, and I'm like, what'd I do? I ended up, after I was done filming, I went and talked to them. They were super nice. I apologized for not coming over immediately when they were hollering. But it's like, you know, I gotta be able to do my thing out here. I mean, I'm doing these videos, and people, if they know me, they know I'm filming. On the water, and I don't mind talking to people at boat ramps when I'm done or before I launch, whatever. That's fine. If I'm at a gas station, a grocery store, whatever, people have come up, that's fine. But when I'm actively filming out on the water, like, that's just, it's not the best time to get me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm a football fan. And, you know, there's football players that I would be super excited to meet, that I would probably go up and want to shake their hand and try to get a picture with them. And if I saw them out somewhere, I would probably just go up to shake their hand. But if they're actively playing in a football game, I wouldn't expect them to stop the game for me to go up and shake their hand. And so kind of the same thing when I'm out on the water filming, like, if a person sees me, I feel like, you know, ain't the best time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like comparing myself to a professional athlete or anything, but you know, but I mean, just the concept's the same. Like, you wouldn't expect a football player to stop the game so you can get a picture or autograph. And kind of the same thing out here, like if I'm actively doing something. I don't know, I got to come up with something though, because it's going to happen more and more frequently as this channel continues to grow, which How the hell it's gotten this big, I don't know. Like I'm totally not cut out for YouTube at all, my personality. I'm not suited. I'm too antisocial for social media. But it just keeps growing. These unedited videos, man, that's made my channel grow even more. All these people, when I went to the unedited format, all them people were saying, oh, Justin, you're killing your channel. I'm unsubscribing. This is stupid. You're boring. You're killing your channel. I'm never watching again. And yet here we are. My channel's at all-time highs. And I'm having more fun doing this. It's easier on me. Like, it's one of the best decisions I've made for my channel, despite all of the negativity I got when I made the transition, and still get from time to time. But when you're doing these unedited videos, you gotta have a contingency plan when people come up. I don't really have that yet. I gotta figure it out though. I need a contingency plan for this daggone heat, but it's hot. We're losing our shade here. The higher that sun gets up there. I can feel my nose burning right now, y'all. We'll give it a little while longer here. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go to the ice machine, get some ice so I can pack this bait when I get home, pack it real good. When I get back over here to the ramp, I'm gonna switch out my water in the bait tank. Let's go ahead, freshen it up. I'll put some ice blocks in there when I get home. I think I've talked myself into going to Donna's today, so I'll probably go over there and get a burger. It's catfish day, I don't care for catfish. I'm sure her catfish is delightful, but I don't care for it. I love catching catfish. I've never liked eating them. We obviously can't eat anything out of the waters where I fish anyway, because everything's contaminated, but even just eating like farm-raised catfish and stuff, like I'm just never had taste for it. About the only fish I eat at all. I'll occasionally eat a tuna sandwich. I'll occasionally, well, me and the girlfriend, we're both pissed at the sushi place. We got a place up in Knoxville called Nama Sushi. And on Mondays and Thursdays, they have half-price sushi, so it's actually affordable to go there. But we had such a bad experience the last time we went. Couldn't get any service, couldn't get our food. It was awful. I don't know if we're gonna go back, but when we do have sushi, I don't really get fish sushi. Like if I get one of them rice roll things, it might have some crab or some shrimp or something. But I love catching fish, but never got into eating them. Just ain't, I don't know. I like eating cow and chicken. I don't even eat that much chicken. I bet you I've had chicken. Well, I could count on one hand probably how many times I've had chicken this year. I eat a steak about every day. I eat hamburgers and stuff, but I probably ain't had chicken 5 times all year. The last chicken I had, we had another bad restaurant experience. I think I talked about this on video. I went to Hooters, me and a girlfriend went to Hooters over in Maryville, for Alcoa there. And it was a Saturday night. We walk in, and most places around here, you try to eat on Saturday night about 6 o'clock somewhere, you ain't getting in. Like, you're gonna wait. And you're usually gonna wait. If it's somewhere worth eating at, you're gonna wait 30 minutes to an hour. Here we go. That's another one. It's gonna pull a little bit now. What is this? Bluegill? It is. It's another good one. Boy, we've tore up some good bluegill today, man. A lot of people don't appreciate the bluegill. I am not one of those people, buddy. I love them. But we went to Hooters Saturday night, dinner time. We walk right in, like there's no wait. There's only a handful of people in the place. Like there's open tables everywhere. Like, and we sat down like, wow, this is odd. Like, where's everybody at, you know? Because, I mean, again, any other restaurant you go to would be packed. That should have been our first clue that something was up. We get our food, and the second piece of chicken I eat, or that I didn't eat it, I bit into it, was still cold, like it hadn't been properly cooked. Like it was cold on the inside, like it was like still like partially frozen cold. And the fries were stale, like they had been obviously sitting there for hours, it seemed like, and like we didn't even finish. We just got our check, I paid the bill, I said never again. The water was the best part of the meal. I'm like, yep, that's why nobody's in there. Like, that's why. It is awful. I saw a thing online after that too. Oh, that was a bass, right? That could have been our smallmouth right there. It was a small fish, but could have been our smallmouth that I wanted to get. Let's throw back over there. I saw a thing online after that a bunch of Hooters had closed down nationwide. And I thought, boy, they ought to add that one in Maryville, Alcoa to the list because they're missing an opportunity to do the community a favor by closing that place down. It's awful. It just goes back to it, man. You can't. And it was expensive too. I mean, hell, our plates were still covered in food. Like, we're just gonna pay the bill and get the hell out. I should have probably complained and showed my ass, but I hate doing that. I don't mind showing my ass for poor service somewhere. But I don't want to do it at a restaurant because you know good and well somebody's probably going to do something to your food. And I didn't have any confidence in the cooks at that point anyway when you get a partially frozen piece of chicken come out to you the first time. So anyway, we just paid the bill and left. But I mean, it was expensive for no more food than we got. Especially even more so the fact it was inedible. So it just goes back to like, man, I'd rather just eat at home anymore. I am gonna go to Donna's today though. I didn't talk myself into it. In fact, I'm about ready to go right now because I didn't eat nothing before I left the house, so I'm getting pretty hungry. It's getting so damn hot out here, you can barely enjoy these fish I'm reeling in. We got just a little bit more of shade. That sun is just right there. When it gets over just a little bit higher, there ain't gonna be no shade out here. Oh, fish. Come on down, fish. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Bob Barker and Rod Roddy. I know Bob Barker's dead. I wonder if Rod Roddy's dead too. I bet he is. All right, bluegill. You want to be the last one on the video? Let's measure you. I think you might be close to 8 inches too. Just shy of 8 inches. Yeah, folks, that's still, man. I mean, we've had a good day out here. Well, I don't know if y'all have. A lot of people don't like the trolling. We probably lost a bunch of people right away when we were trolling right from the start of this video. But, I mean, mission accomplished though today, man. We got our, thought somebody was behind me back there. I'm hearing things. We got our bait, got white bass, skipjack, we were trolling. We had some fun there ultralight fishing first thing. We've had a ton of fun with these bluegill coming down through here. I mean, we've had some really good quality bluegill. Got a variety of species, so I mean, it's been a good day for me, y'all. I don't know if y'all have had fun, but I've had fun out here today. if I could have changed anything about it, could have probably just spent more time ultralight fishing there first thing when the top water bite was there, was really going. That would have been more fun. But you know, being the responsible tournament fisherman that I am, I took the sure thing with the trolling. We covered water. We got what we needed. But yeah, y'all, you know, I say it in all these ultralight videos, get you an ultralight rod, get you some jig heads. I like the Gulp plastics. You can use any small plastic. You just want something to represent a small shad fry, if you will. And you know, you can see how well these shad fry, they get gobbled up by everything. The white bass, skipjack, largemouth, bluegill, everything's eating them shad fry, and they eat them all the time. So if you can represent that, you're gonna get bit. You're gonna get bit a lot. But you can see that sun, man, it's hitting me. I can feel it melting my flesh right now. I think I'm gonna pack it out. I may make a few more casts here. I cut the camera off. And what I may do, throw these trolling rods out behind me because I'm gonna hoof it a little bit, try to get some cardio in today. May troll up here to this next creek, loop back here to the car and call it a day. I'm gonna go get some ice, pack our bait, go to Donna's, get some lunch, and call it a day, get ready to travel to Columbus tomorrow. And again, hopefully, next video you see, if things went well, even whether it went well or not, I just need to catch some fish. Obviously, I'm not gonna post a tournament skunk video. Nobody wants to see that, but as long as I caught some fish in the tournament, which I think we will, I'm pretty confident we'll catch fish. Don't know how I'm gonna do as far as caching in the tournament, but I feel like we're gonna catch some fish up there. But that should be the next video there. So anyway, y'all, thanks for coming fishing with me today. I've had fun, hope you had fun. I'll see you there at the tournament.